All right, it's game day. You only got one job to do. That's win. That means you stay focused for 4 quarters. Know your assignments and finish on every play. Don't be looking for shortcuts, and don't even think about making excuses. Because if you want the W, you're going to have to earn it.
And a very pleasant good evening, football fans, and welcome one last time to Baker Gator High School football on WTJT 90.1 FM and JockJive.com. Tonight, for the last time this season, we are live from Baker, Florida, inside the press box of Doug Griffith Memorial Stadium, home of the Baker Gators. Tonight is the semifinals. One last game before the state championship next week, and it's your Baker Gators at home to host the Port St. Joe Sharks. It sounds like a Schwarzenegger movie. It is Predator versus Predator, Claws versus Jaws, Sharks versus Gators. 2 undefeated Titans clash one last time in the swamp for the ultimate prize, the state championship trophy. The Baker Gators, the Port St. Joe Sharks. Stay tuned. Pre-game kickoff is all coming up.
One of our sponsors this year for our live coverage of Baker Gator varsity football is Wise Equipment in Crestview. Wise Equipment specializes in sales and services of Kubota and John Deere mowers and tractors. They carry Steel and John Deere chainsaws, line trimmers, and blowers. Plus, they have John Deere toys. All products are backed by a manufacturer's warranty. Wise Equipment is located at 1147 South Verdon Boulevard in Crestview and can be reached at 850-682-3366.
We are proud to acknowledge the support of Whitehurst Powell Funeral Home in Crestview. They are a family-owned and operated funeral home, open 7 days a week, and can handle all funeral needs. Plus, they offer advanced planning. Whitehurst Powell is also home to the Southern Heritage Crematory. They are located at 436 James Lee Boulevard, and the phone number is 850-682-3052. Owner Andy Powell is committed to caring for you in your time of need, and is also proud to help make coverage of Baker Gator football possible.
And welcome back to Baker, Florida. Welcome to tonight's broadcast of Baker Gator High School football, the playoffs, the semifinals. I'm Mark Forehand, all set to bring you the exciting play-by-play action of tonight's ball game between Baker and Port St. Joe. And with me once again, as he has been the entire season, and I say this every week, but it's true, his entire life, my younger son Seth. And Seth, it's good to be back in the press box one last time this season.
Yeah, Dad, I'm glad to be here for this state semifinal game. What a season it's been, and it's great that we get to finish on what might be one of the best games that we've got to see all season.
It is kind of bittersweet that it is the last game here, and also for us, win or lose next week, we will not be in Orlando,
right,
but hopefully our Baker Gators will. We are just about set for the coin toss. The Gators, once again tonight, decked out in their black jerseys with the black pants and the maroon numbers. The Port St. Joe Sharks are purple, gold, and white. They have white jerseys with the purple numbers, purple pants with a gold stripe, and gold helmets. Team captains tonight for the Baker Gators is Zach Mason, Seth Plahuta, Peyton Rockwell, and Brian Holly. And team captains for Port St. Joe is Kendra Gant, Josh Butts, Kavan Zaccaro, and now we wait for the coin toss. Seth, real quick, both teams undefeated. The Gators 12-0, Port St. Joe 11-0. Last week, the Gators advanced by just dominating Vernon 51-19.
Mm-hmm.
Port St. Joe had a little bit closer victory over Jefferson County 35-20. What's your comments real quick on last week's game against Vernon?
Well, it was a game that started out really close. Vernon came out fired up behind the legs of Quan Powell, who still ended the night with a night that any back would consider great, with over almost 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. So a great night. He was actually the only person on the team to put up points, but Baker just ended up outmatching him. It was in the second half. Coach Brunson is always known for his adjustments, and in the second half, the Gators just shut him out and absolutely shut down Quan Powell. He had nowhere to go, and then the Gator offense did what they've done all season and ended up putting up the most points that they put up at 51. So, I mean, the Gators just continue to do what we expect them to do, and that is to dominate teams and to come out in the second half and just put in place every adjustment that Coach Brunson and this coaching staff want to make, and then they finish the game strong.
Indeed. And you're right. They do seem to be a second-half team. They score enough points in the first half, but the second half just explodes. Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, just their highest point so far of the season.
Right.
Now, Port St. Joe, we haven't seen them a whole lot. Ironically, the last time Baker and Port St. Joe played, 3 years ago, right here, a semifinal game. That one was not in Baker's favor. Port St. Joe won that one 42-13. Hopefully tonight will be different results. Port St. Joe won the coin toss. They have deferred to the second half, and they will be kicking off to the Baker Gators. So we are just about set. Expecting some rain tonight, but so far it has held off. It's cool temperatures, a nice night for football, a great night for football. We're going to take another break and be right back after this with the kickoff.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
WTJT would like to thank Harris Fence of Baker, Florida for their support of WTJT and live coverage of Baker Gator football. Harris Fence offers a wide range of fencing services and supplies which include chain link, galvanized or vinyl coated, wood, privacy or picket, PVC, privacy, 3-rail, etc., and ornamental aluminum. They also offer various styles and brands. They do residential, commercial, and industrial work as well as offer free estimates and military and senior citizen discounts. Harris Fence is fully licensed and insured, and they have been serving Okaloosa, Walton, and Santa Rosa County for 21 years with 35 years experience. They are also a member of the Better Business Bureau. Harris Fence is located at 1588 Garrett Mill Road in Baker, Florida, and they can also be contacted by phone at 537-6169. Thanks again to Harris Fence and James and Rebecca Harris for your support of WTJT and our local football team.
And welcome back to Baker, Florida. Just about set for this semifinal game, the last game before next week's state championship in Orlando. The Baker Gators and the Port St. Joe Sharks. And Seth, it's about a 3-hour drive here from Port St. Joe, but looking across the field, they have packed their stands with Shark fans tonight. And Baker has a pretty good crowd themselves. Great to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what you play for. This is the Final Four. The four of the best teams in Class 1A ball are playing tonight. So, yeah, I like to see a capacity crowd supporting both teams, and I'm ready for this game tonight. It's going to be great. Right.
And the winner tonight will play either Hawthorne or Madison County. I believe they
Correct.
are playing tonight as well.
Yes, sir.
Back deep for the Gators, Junior McLaughlin and Derek Peoples. Junior, the number 2 rusher in the state with over 2,600 yards this season.
And 32 touchdowns. Just an absolute force all season. Not a bad return man either, and so we'll see as they have to choose which poison they want to take in either Peoples or McLaughlin.
Set to kick for the Sharks is Joel Bogart. Pooch kick. And this will be Trey Colmetz at his 35. Trying to find somewhere to go. He's to the 40-yard line. Still fighting. It takes a whole swimmer of Sharks to bring him down. And finally, Trey Colmetz is brought down about the 42-yard line. But Trey Colmetz, boy, showing some of that determination.
Yeah, Colmetz very strong. He's also a running back and one of the defensive backs on this Gator team. And, yeah, they're one of the guys you definitely want to have as an up back to take that pooch kick. And Colmetz showing some ferocity in it. Took a long time for them to blow a whistle and said his forward progress had stopped. So he must have had them legs churning pretty hard. And looking forward to seeing what this Gator offense is about to do here.
Real quick, Seth, Crestview playing at Armwood tonight, and they are trailing Armwood 21-8 in the second.
Wow.
1st and 10, Baker from their 41-yard line. Junior McLaughlin in the Wildcat formation. Hands off to Derek Peoples off the left side. Derek's to the 45. He's across midfield. He's still going. Finally forced out of bounds across the 50. Well, they'll bring him back, I believe, at the 49-yard line, but what a great run by Derek Peoples.
And this is the formation that was so successful last week against Vernon and earlier in the season against Vernon and a couple other teams. This Wildcat is such a difficult offense to stop because immediately once the ball is snapped, you have it in the hands of your playmaker. So McLaughlin right there is able to hand it off to another playmaker, and Derek Peoples showing the great speed, tenacity, getting out there on the edge, picking up the first down.
11:33. Again, Peoples. Handoff from McLaughlin, and this time Peoples does not get quite a first down yardage, but he gains about 3 yards to the 47 of Port St. Joe, brings up second down 8 for the Gators.
And Peoples all season has just been so great as a runner. 36 carries, 455 yards, and 6 total touchdowns. So having him and McLaughlin in the backfield as this dual threat is just going to be something special to watch again tonight. And don't be surprised if we also see Junior McLaughlin with a little play-action pass. He's got a pretty good arm.
Yeah, Kenny Williams comes in at fullback. Again, McLaughlin in that Wildcat formation. Peoples is spread wide to the right. Now Peoples goes into motion, and he fakes it, and he keeps it. Breaks one tackle. McLaughlin, he's to the 30, the 25. He cuts it back inside. He's to the 10, the 5-yard line, and stopped just shy of a first down, but a great run by Junior McLaughlin, breaking tackles, and he picks up about 42 yards down to the 5-yard line.
If you take your eyes off Junior McLaughlin, you're going to lose him, and that's what Port St. Joe did there. They lost sight of the ball, and as soon as McLaughlin has that gap provided by that right side of the line and Gavin Vaccarello and Zach Mason, McLaughlin makes a great choice to keep it, takes it upfield, and then obviously just works that great footwork. Makes a few guys miss, and now Gators set up for first and goal.
10:25, first quarter, no score, first and goal from the 5. McLaughlin in Wildcat formation again. Keeps the ball, dives straight ahead, and he's going to be brought down quickly by Kayvon Zaccaro, one of the leading tacklers for the Port St. Joe Sharks. And he may have lost yardage. I'm sorry, no, he did. He picks up about 2 yards, 3 yards. It is second down goal from the 2. 10 minutes to go in this first quarter.
Yeah, all season Zaccaro has been just an absolute force on this defense. 143 total tackles, 72 solo and 71 assisted. A lot of tackles for loss and right there.
Again, McLaughlin on the direct snap. This time he goes nowhere, brought down quickly by that Port St. Joe defense. Looks like that time it may have been number 41. That's Anthony Guilford. Stops McLaughlin. They mark the ball at about the 3-yard line, third down and goal.
And this is the hardest place to stop this Gator offense. You talked before this game about this feared offensive line, and there's a reason, because they are big, they're strong, they're physical, and right here at the goal line, they just seem to have their way with opposing defensive lines. And so we'll see right here on this third down if they can get that final push and get McLaughlin into the end zone.
Brad Inscore comes in late to the lineup. Junior rolls right. Or correction, that is
It was Peyton Rockwell.
As Peyton Rockwell comes in, and Peyton bootlegs around the right side. He's got a touchdown, Baker Gators. So the Gators on their opening series, Seth, go 59 yards, and Peyton Rockwell takes to the final 2, and the Gators strike first.
And very unexpected. You would think right there, I just said, I figured McLaughlin would still be in there on the Wildcat. Instead, Peyton Rockwell comes in. I think the defense is a little bit thrown off by that, and then Rockwell showing some good speed, outflanks him on the edge there, and then just dives into the end zone and picks up that touchdown. So the Gators, once again, leading in this football game, or in the playoffs.
I was kind of hesitant there because I thought that was Junior to begin with because he's been there the whole series. But that was Peyton Rockwell, senior quarterback.
Yep.
Now Brian Holly on for the extra point. Braden score the holder. The kick is up. It is good. 8:56 to go in the first quarter. Baker strikes first. They lead 7-0 back after this.
You are listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
This radio ministry relies heavily upon its gracious supporters to survive, like Days Tire Pros in Crestview. In addition to tires with a national warranty, they have a complete car care center, providing brake jobs, front end and rear end alignments, oil change, lube and filter, shocks, belts, air conditioning, and so much more. Days is located where they've been for nearly 4 decades of service on Highway 85 South, which is also home to Pack Rat Mini Storage. The phone number, 850-682-5088. Thanks, Kim and staff, for your support. Days Tire Pros, home of the hassle-free guarantee.
And welcome back. The Gators strike first on a 2-yard bootleg by Peyton Rockwell. The extra point by Holly is good. It is Baker 7, Port St. Joe nothing. 8:56 to go in this first quarter. And Seth, I thought it was interesting. You mentioned it. The Daily News called the offensive line, Baker's offensive line, the most feared in the Panhandle.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about Dustin Oglesby, as well as the guards, Vaccarello and Mason, and then the tackles. I may have it back, Barbero, and Mason. There's 2 Masons on the offensive line. Pooch kick by Holly, and it will sail way out of bounds. Now a flag comes in, and most likely because of that. But so Baker has been heavily penalized this whole season. But Seth, that first series, no flags at all.
No. I mean, and it's hard to get too many flags when you only have to run about 4 plays to get into the end zone. So that's a pretty quick and efficient drive, so not a lot of time for him to get penalized. But, yeah, great discipline on that first drive. No costly holding penalties to bring back that great run by Junior. And then, yeah, absolutely no false starts, nothing on that third down to pull him away from the goal line. So, yeah, really impressed to see strong discipline on that first drive. But now this penalty here, and Port St. Joe is going to elect for the re-kick. So instead of from the 40, now Brian Holly will get a chance to kick from the 35.
Yeah, Baker goes 59 yards on the first series, and it was really highlighted by Junior's 42-yard run about the second or third play. Mm-hmm. So now Brian Holly is set to kick once again from his 35-yard line. There's the whistle, and now he kicks it straight away. Takes a couple of bounces. Port St. Joe picks up about the 20-yard line, trying to find somewhere to go. Cuts back to his left, and finally tackled. Derek Peoples brings him down along with Junior, and that was number 3.
It's Jatavion Reed with a solid return there. He likes to wiggle a lot, try to get the Gators thrown off with some little quick motions, but good discipline on this kick team to track him down and hold them to only decent field position here to start their first drive on offense. An offense I'm very much looking forward to seeing tonight. Very similar to Baker in their run pass. They like to run a lot. Very run-heavy team.
8:47, first quarter. Baker on top 7-0. First and 10, Port St. Joe from their 31-yard line. Josh Butts is the quarterback. He's a dual threat. And he keeps the ball in this first series, and he goes nowhere. He is held up by that big Gator defensive line. And tackle was made by 58. And Seth, that's one we have no name for.
You are correct. But that was the nose tackle. That's number 58 that made that great stop up front.
Is that Devin Jordan possibly?
It could be Devin Jordan tonight, yeah. That might have been 78.
Might have been. 1-yard gain, second down 9 from the 32 for Port St. Joe. 8:10 to go in the first quarter. And now spread formation for the Sharks. Quarterback is Josh Butts, a dual threat. Back to pass, good protection, throws downfield, it's caught. And catch is made by Condre Gant. And he's brought down near midfield. Trey Colmetz makes the tackle for the Gators, but it's first and 10, Port St. Joe from midfield.
Gant, one of the tried and true receivers for Butts to throw to tonight. 8 catches on the year, 72 yards and a couple touchdowns. There, it's a simple post route. He gets behind the defensive back, and Butts hits him in perfect stride, and then thankfully Colmetz is able to pull him down, but not before he picks up that first down. Port St. Joe at midfield and driving now.
Yeah, 7:45 to go first quarter. Baker 7, Port St. Joe nothing. Josh Butts has over 600 yards passing this season and 7 touchdowns, but he's also ran for over 700 yards and 10 scores. So he's a dual threat
for sure.
Either way. Now he goes under center. And hands off to Thomas off the right side, and Thomas gets to about the 45-yard line before being forced out of bounds on the far side. Trey Colmetz in pursuit.
Actually, I believe that was a quarterback keeper. He faked the handoff to Thomas up the middle. Butts kept it. Rolls around that right side.
Good eyes, Seth. Good eyes.
Yeah.
5-yard pickup. It is 2nd down 5 for the Sharks from the Gator 45-yard line. 7 minutes to go in this first quarter. Baker on top 7-0, but the Sharks are driving. And this time, Butts drops back into shotgun formation. He has one man in motion. Fakes a handoff, looking to pass, goes downfield, is caught. A great catch by number 7, Cameron Harmon, at the Baker 36-yard line.
And another great pass from Butts, this time to one of his other great receivers, his actual number 1 receiver who has 10 catches on the year, 144 yards and a touchdown. Harmon just finds a little hole in the zone, sits there. Not much time, but Butts finds him quickly, picks up another first down.
Yeah, Jarrett Browning, I believe the tackle there for Port St. Joe, doing the Gator chomp. I don't know if he was doing that towards the Gator fans or the Gator players, but I think
it's a little early for that.
Little trash talk there, yeah. Again, Butts, quarterback, hands off to Thomas this time, and Thomas is sandwiched back at the 45-yard line. What a tackle by that Baker defense. And that is Trey Colmetz.
Yeah, Trey Colmetz wrapped him up first, and then a couple of his buddies found him. I believe that was Peyton Rockwell, along with John Metaleska, and one more linebacker that just came in. Colmetz stopped him long enough, and then he just got planted by that linebacking core, and they might be thinking twice about doing the Gator chomp.
They give him forward progress to the 40-yard line, but it's still 2nd down and about 13 for the Sharks. 5:35 to go in this first quarter. Again, Josh Butts, quarterback for the Sharks, in shotgun, and they're going to take a timeout. Timeout, Baker 7, Port St. Joe nothing. Back after this.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA football state semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM. Rights to the broadcasts of this state semifinal game in the 2018 FHSAA Class 1A championships have been granted to WTJT 90.1 FM by the Florida High School Athletic Association and is intended solely for the enjoyment of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast without the express written consent of the Florida High School Athletic Association is prohibited.
Milligan Assembly of God is a proud sponsor of Baker Gator football. Our service times are on Sundays at 9:30 for Sunday school, 10:30 for morning worship, and 6 p.m. for Sunday night explosion. Our midweek service is on Wednesday nights starting at 7 p.m., and there's something for every age group of the family. You can connect with us at mag.church, and you can check us out on Facebook. From Pastor Mike White and the congregation of Milligan Assembly of God, we want to say,
Go Gators, yeah!
And welcome back. It is 2nd down, 13 from the 40 for the Sharks. Butts, back to pass. He's going for his receiver, trying to hit Isaiah Wright, and it's just off his fingertip, covered by Derek Peoples, but what an arm on Josh Butts.
That's a great pass from Butts. Puts just a little bit too much on that throw. Isaiah Wright actually has a couple of steps on people on that seam route, and Butts just not quite able to connect with him, and that's going to be an incomplete pass. And I believe we had another timeout called here.
Well, it's the water break, official water break called by the officials. 5:23 to go, first quarter. Baker on top, 7-0.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA football state semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM. Sportsmanship is having pride in your school, your team, and yourself. Sportsmanship is respect for the game and those who play it. The Florida High School Athletic Association reminds you to take on the responsibility of good sportsmanship. Play strong, play hard, play fair. This message provided by the station and by the FHSAA.
And welcome back. After the official water break, the Sharks facing 3rd down, 13 from the Gator 40-yard line. 5:23 to go in this first quarter. Baker leads 7-0. They strike first on their first series. And now the Sharks, with their first series, trying to put points on the board. Spread formation. Josh Butts, quarterback, back to pass. The left-hander goes back to Thomas, hits him at the 35, the 30, he's to the 20, the 10. He'll go all the way. Touchdown, Port St. Joe. So just like that, a 40-yard pass, a screen pass from Butts to Thomas, and Thomas just weaves his way on the right sideline and goes in almost untouched.
Yeah, that's a great play. They line up trips on the near side and have the one lone receiver on the right. It looks like Butts, as soon as he takes a snap, is going to find somebody on that left side. The Gator defense loses eye of the ball, and Butts makes him pay for it with that screen and an easy, quick score right there. So third down conversion with a touchdown.
Joel Bogart for the extra point. The kick is up, and it is good. 5:13 to go in the first. Baker 7, Port St. Joe 7. Back after this.
You are listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
WTJT would like to thank Jason Norton and Baker Metalworks for allowing us to bring live Baker Gator football coverage to the listeners of WTJT. Baker Metalworks offers a large variety of colors, and they are all Energy Star rated. They have 4 profile styles with 29 and 26 gauge. They also have delivery available, and all of their materials are Florida product approved. Baker Metalworks is located at 5846 Highway 189 in Baker. They can be reached by phone at 850-537-2010. Thanks again to Baker Metalworks for all of your support here at WTJT.
And welcome back. Port St. Joe, they strike right back. A 40-yard pass from Josh Butts to Isaiah Thomas. The extra point by Joel Bogart is good. We are tied 7-7 with 5:13 to go in this first quarter. And Seth, what did you think about the Port St. Joe offense? You was curious. What did you think?
I like it. I like the wing tee, first of all, the look that they gave the Gators, and then they started to change it up a little bit of I formation, a little bit of shotgun, just giving the Gator defense something different to look at in the passing game. Very strong there. Butts is a great quarterback, able to hit his receivers perfectly, and Stride only had that one incompletion on the deep route. But other than that, this offense looks very well matched with the Gator offense, and we might have a shootout tonight. It might be whoever has the ball last.
May have. He's a left-handed quarterback, and it's fun to watch him throw. A flag was on the kick. I believe maybe been offsides or something, but they will now kick from the 35-yard line. And apparently they like doing the pooch kick almost as good as Baker does.
Right.
Now, Trey Colmetz made the fair catch on that penalty kick. Now, he and Derek Peoples keep swapping back and forth. Now a little squib kick. And it's going to be McLaughlin at his 30, 35, 40. He's got some blocks. He's got some room to run. And he's finally pulled out of bounds. Pulled down by number 21. That's Caleb Butts, the brother of quarterback Josh Butts. So Junior McLaughlin gets the ball out to about the 45-yard line. About a 15-yard run for Junior, and the Gators 1st and 10, or actually make that the 48-yard line. 48-yard line.
And that was such a slow little squib kick. It looked like it was barely going to get to McLaughlin's hands before the Sharks were in his face, but just scoops it up. And then just all year, and tonight especially, this team loves to block, especially on returns and the line receivers. Everybody likes to block and provide a hole for their playmaker. And that time they set up McLaughlin for a great return. Now the Gators with great field position.
And McLaughlin fakes the handoff, keeps the ball. He cuts to his left. He's across midfield before being tackled. Tackle made by Reed for the Sharks. About a 3-yard run by Junior. 2nd down, 7 for the Gators.
And that's a little read option. McLaughlin likes what he sees, decides to keep it for himself, take it up that left side, picks up a couple of good yards behind that left side of the line.
4:37 first quarter, tied at 7. Brad Inscore comes out of the game, and Kenny Williams goes in at fullback. McLaughlin and Peoples in the backfield, and that front line, the most feared in the Panhandle. I love that description. Oh, yeah. McLaughlin again fakes the handoff, keeps the ball. McLaughlin, he's at the 40, the 35, the 30, the 20. He stiffed on one Shark, and he's forced out of bounds about the 20 or 15-yard line. Another great run by Junior, and that covers about about 33 yards.
And that stiff arm was your claws versus jaws as Junior McLaughlin puts his big claw up there in the face of that shark, stiff arms him away. But McLaughlin with a great run up the sideline, just another read option, the reverse side, and he finds success really behind the right side of that line. And then his great speed. Good for the Sharks, though. They had a man just fast enough to pull him down.
3:35 to go in the first. We're tied 7-7. Official timeout. And we'll take it as well and be right back after this.
You're listening to the 2018 FHS AA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
Hi, this is Tony from Baker Feed and Country Store. The Baker Gator football season is back, and we are proud supporters of WTJT's live Baker Gator football program. Baker Feed and Country Store has all your fall food plot, seed, and fertilizer needs, along with corn, rice bran, pellets, and blocks. We carry Justin boots, belts, wallets, and Wrangler jeans. Baker Feed and Country Store is located on the right at the light in downtown Baker and can be reached by phone 537-1000. Again, that's 537-1000. Go Gators!
And welcome back to Baker. After a big run by Junior McLaughlin down to the Port St. Joe 15-yard line, it is 1st and 10 for the Gators. 3:14 left in this first quarter. Baker 7, Port St. Joe 7. Baker 12-0. The Sharks 11 wins, no losses. And really, they've only had a couple of close games. Port St. Joe, they beat 4A Mariana. I believe it was 14-9, and then 2 weeks ago beat Blountstown 17-12. Baker has not had a really close game thus far. Tonight, Port St. Joe making it real close.
Yeah. And this is what you expect. I mean, this is the Final Four. These are two of the best teams in Class 1A ball. So you expect a game where it's going to be back and forth like this, and somebody's just going to have to come up with the upper hand, maybe on a turnover that changes the possessions, or one or two big plays that really just make the difference in this game.
The officials have yet to blow the whistle. There was some clock issues. It said 3:14. Now it says 3:23. And we are still waiting for the white hat to blow the whistle. And now he's walking to the sideline. Still some confusion, Seth. Not sure what's going on here. But nonetheless, trying to get it straightened out. But just kind of waiting. Not sure what the issue is.
They're still discussing. Well, why don't we have a second then?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm always interested about your keys to the game. You guys know.
I'll give you those later, but
okay.
I'm just going to say real quick before they come right back, about last week, the Vernon game. I mean, Baker just did so well, so impressively. Out of this particular offense, the Wildcat offense was so successful. McLaughlin ran for 3 touchdowns. Peoples added 2 more, and then I believe Colmetz had 1 in the second half, and then the pick 6 by Eric McQueen. So, I mean, just the way they were able to score so efficiently out of this offense was impressive, and then the defense showing up as well.
There's the whistle. Now we're finally underway after the discussion. Not sure what the issue was, but finally we're underway here. 3:23 first quarter, tied 7-7 Baker, 1st and 10 from the 15. McLaughlin quarterback keeper up the middle. Picks up a couple of yards, and he's brought down by Condre Gant after about a 2 or 3 yard pickup. It's going to be 3rd down or 2nd down and long for the Gators.
And you know why they're their most feared line in the Panhandle is because they're opening up holes for one of the most feared players in the Panhandle, and that's Junior McLaughlin. It's pretty scary when they open up a lane and that guy comes running at you.
Well, when all you see is Junior's backside, that's a scary sight because you know he's about to hit pay dirt.
You messed up for sure.
2:40 to go first quarter. It is 2nd down, 8 from the 13 of Port St. Joe Wildcat. Now a flag comes in, and Seth, I'm not sure just what's going on. There seems to be some confusion. Illegal procedure against the Gators.
So that's the first false start against this Gator offense, and it could not come at a more opportune time on 2nd down, and now it's going to be a 2nd and long for the Gators.
Yeah, 2nd down and about 13 yards for Baker. They will place the ball back at the 20 or the 18-yard line.
You know, we've talked, they're just able to continue to have success in spite of those penalties. It seems like that just motivates them to gain those extra yards back with big plays, and we'll see if Junior can do it right here on the second long.
Yeah, they are the exception to being heavily penalized and still winning. Another flag comes in. Another false start against the Gators.
Looks like.
And Gavin Vaccarello pleading his case. He may have been called for the false start that time. Yeah. Nicknamed Crisco by linebacker coach Anthony Patton.
I think he wanted a neutral zone infraction as one of the Port St. Joe Sharks might have jumped a little bit. But Vaccarello is going to get called for moving instead. And so another 5 yards back. Now a second near about 20 to work out of.
Yeah, second down 18 back from the 23-yard line. The clock continues to roll. 2:05 to go in this first quarter. We're tied 7-7. And this drive has been stalled by penalties. Finally, McLaughlin hands off to Derek Peoples. The left side, he finds some green grass, and he's stopped just shy of the goal line. He's down to the 2-yard line. What a great run by Derek Peoples. Picks up 21 yards in the first down.
And they like to run that little jet sweep out of the motion as Peoples is coming over. McLaughlin snaps it, gives it to him, and then Peoples is just nothing but speed, follows up that side, and it's a shoestring tackle that stops him from scoring that touchdown. But that's a easy first down for Peoples in this offense.
Yeah, first and goal from the 3 Port St. Joe for the Baker Gators. 1:44 to go in the first. We're tied 7-7. But the Gators just 3 yards from changing that score. Junior, quarterback keeper, right side, brace one tackle, trying to find some where to run, and finally Junior into the end zone. Touchdown, Baker Gators. So after a drive that was stalled by a couple of false start penalties, finally the Gators get untracked and get on track, and Junior with his first touchdown tonight.
And that's how they do it with those big playmakers like that. Peoples gets the yards right back from the 2 penalties, gives them that first and goal, and then McLaughlin, using those phenomenal legs that have been such threats all season, outflanks the Sharks, gets in the end zone, picks up, like you said, his first TD of the night.
And now Brian Holly on for the extra point. Braden Escort gets the ball down. The kick is up. It is good. 1:28 to go in this first quarter. Your new score, Baker 14, Port St. Joe 7. Back in a moment.
And you're listening to the 2018 FHS AA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
WTJT and the Baker Gators are proud to recognize Baker Parts in downtown Baker as a sponsor of live coverage of Baker Gator football. Baker Parts has auto parts and hardware for all household needs. Baker Parts is located at 1304 Georgia Avenue in Baker, and their phone number is 537-3131 or 537-4231. Thanks, Danny, and all the staff at Baker Parts for helping to make coverage of Baker Gator football possible on WTJT.
And welcome back to Doug Griffith Memorial Stadium, home of the Baker Gators. The Gators and the Sharks clash in the swamp. One saltwater predator, one freshwater predator, but a great game tonight between these two. And Baker on top 14-7. And Seth, we've got a game here tonight. Baker, most, except for the Vernon game, the first one, 19-6.
Yeah.
Most of them have been pretty wide margins. This one is tight. And Holly kicks it straight away. And it is number 32. That is Octavius Russ. He's going backwards. He's going to be dropped back at about the 10-yard line. What a great play by the Gators kickoff. And I believe that was none other than Joe Brunson.
And who else?
Exactly.
But one of the leading tacklers on this team, only behind Trey Colmetz. Just an absolutely terrifying man to see coming running at you on these kickoffs. And Russ just breaks the rule there, the cardinal rule. He ran backwards. You can't run backwards, especially against a team like this of the Gators that are so fast, and then they can pay for it there with a punishing hit from big number 9. And now they're going to have a long field to try to cover to even this game back up.
But, Seth, if I saw Joe Brunson chasing me, I'd run backwards.
I think I would too. Yeah, can't argue with that.
First and 10 from the 11. And Josh Butts, I believe he hands off to his running back. That is DeCaro, and he gets popped on that far side.
He gets popped, and I also think he might have slipped a little bit on that far side. It might be still a little bit slick down here in the swamp. Some of the dew coming in and settling, and the swamp kind of favors the Gators here.
It does. Not sure who made the tackle, Seth. I missed the tackle. I was watching him get popped so hard. But nonetheless, it is a 3-yard loss back to the 8-yard line. Second down, 13. We're under 40 seconds in this first quarter. Now Butts looks to pass. Still looking. Goes deep down the field. He's got Thomas at the 40-yard line. What a catch by Cameron Harmon. Excuse me, that was Harmon makes the catch and slips into the 40. But what an arm on Josh Butts.
Oh, yeah.
And what a pass. And just a perfect over-the-shoulder catch by Harmon at the 40.
And I believe that's going to be there was a false start. The legal procedure before the snap. That's going to negate an absolutely incredible pass from Butts to Harmon.
And that was just an amazing catch. And he was brought down by Derek Peoples, but that fault or illegal procedure just nullifies. And now they will march it back about half the distance. Ball looks like it's inside the 5-yard line, about the 4.
That is a sucker punch to your offense, too. I mean, you're already in the shadow of your own end zone right there. And Butts we can't over-explain how great of a pass that was and the great catch from Harmon. And now just to lose all that and be right back where you started in even worse position, that hurts if you're a Shark.
Yeah, not only will be the person that was penalized and have to face my receiver or quarterback, because that was a great play.
Absolutely.
So now it is second down and about 20 yards to go. And Butts, again, back to pass. He's going to be sacked for a loss. Very close to the goal line.
He was about a foot from getting a safety right there. Butts makes a good choice and steps up just enough to keep that ball out of the end zone. But my goodness, what a great defensive play by this Gator defense. And on this third down, they're going to be coming at him with everything they've got.
And they have an injured player. It's now third down. And about 20 yards to go. And the first quarter has ended. At the end of one quarter, Baker 14, Port St. Joe 7, back after this.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
WTJT would like to say thank you to the Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union for supporting our coverage of Baker Gator football. Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union offers a wide variety of financial services with 4 locations, including the Baker branch location at the entrance to Baker School next to the Gator Cafe. They can be reached at 850-537-9815 or on the web at OkaloosaFCU.org. You can be a member of the credit union if you live, work, or worship or attend school in Okaloosa County. For all your financial needs, it's Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union. Achieving goals together.
Thank you, Brackney Funeral Service in Crestview, for your support. Brackney Funeral Service is located on Highway 90 East. They are locally owned and operated and provide all the traditional funeral services, including burials and cremations. And the telephone number is 683-9898, 683-9898. Terry Brackney is the funeral director. Again, thanks, Terry and Brackney Funeral Service for giving to WTJT.
WTJT is honored to recognize the support of Adams Sanitation to this ministry. Adams is locally owned and operated and has been for more than 35 years. They offer twice-weekly pickup featuring automated trucks. No bagging of trash required. Adams also offers complimentary pickup of small bulk items, appliances, bagged yard waste, plus complimentary service to any church within their service area. They have 65 or 96-gallon rolling cans and pricing plans specifically for the senior 65 and older. The phone number to Adams Sanitation is 537-3282. The website is adamsanitation.com.
And welcome back to Baker as we start this second quarter. The Gators on top 14-7. And the Sharks are facing third and about 20 from their 1-yard line. And they're in shotgun formation. But there's a quick kick. And that kick is high, but it is terribly short, but now takes a shark roll to about the Shark 39-yard line.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they just punted on third down.
Yeah, a quick kick is what we used to call that. Yeah,
that's a first for me.
Yeah, it probably a wise choice because
from
of
their
field
one
position.
Foot line. Yeah, sure. Rather than risk the safety.
Right, but it gives the Gators great field position like they need it at the Shark 39-yard line. 11:47 second quarter, and Baker leads at 14-7. And for the Crestview Bulldogs, it's still 21-8 in favor of Armwood, and that's somewhere down close to Tampa, I do believe. But the Bulldogs are behind 21-8 there. And again, McLaughlin and Wildcat keeps the ball left side. McLaughlin 35, 30, 25, and he's going to be forced down, brought down hard. Tackle made by 22. That is Kayvon Zaccaro, the leading tackler for Port St. Joe this season, but it's a first down run for Junior as he is down at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, no surprise that it would be Zaccaro that's able to come in and be the one to tackle Junior. That's power against power right there, the leader on the defense versus the leader on the offense. But McLaughlin wins that battle as he picks up the first down, and now 25 yards from the promised land.
11-12 second quarter. Again, McLaughlin and Wildcat, or Wild Gator, whatever you want to call it. And he leaps and jumps and twists around several defenders and finally is brought down about the 21-yard line. Another hard-earned 4-yard run for Junior.
That's what this Gator defense does. They really wear on these opposing defenses because it's power run after power run, and they just keep coming at you, obviously behind a very physical, intimidating, dominating offensive line. And then the Gators just have so many other backs to choose from. McLaughlin gets tired, you got Peoples. They get tired, you've got Cole Metz, Brunson, Madaleska. Just so many guys that can come in at any time and have big playmaking ability. And right there we see Junior again just going up the middle, lowering that shoulder, and putting a big hit on the opposing defense.
10:25 second quarter. It is second down and about 6 for the Gators from the 21. This time Junior hands off to Derek Peoples. Around the right side, now cuts it back in, and he's flipped and tripped up about the 11-yard line. That's a first down run for Derek Peoples.
And that's the same play that got them that big second down conversion out of the 2nd and 20 on the previous drive, where they get Peoples on a jet sweep. He's able to find some room on that outside edge, make a little cut back inside, and pick up the first down. And now the Gators in the red zone threatening again to make this a 2-possession game.
Yeah, I believe Derek is the second leading rusher behind Junior McLaughlin.
Correct.
1st and 10, Baker at the Port St. Joe 11. They can get a first down just shy of the goal line. And Junior hands off to Derek Peoples again. Or excuse me, it is Peoples, and Peoples brought down for a loss back to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, I believe that was, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I believe that was Caleb Butts and Condre Gant that found him there. They just were able to blow off their blocks, and they were waiting as Peoples just has nowhere to go, and they wrap him up for the loss.
Yeah, it's a 4-yard loss back to the 15-yard line. Second down, 14 for the Gators. 9:21 to go in the second quarter.
And that's Eric McQueen that just came in on the sideline. Don't be surprised if the Gators might try to work in a little play-action pass here. The tight end has been very successful getting out in the flats and picking up big yards when they need them.
And Peyton Rockwell comes in at quarterback. And now a whistle as we timeout Baker Gators. 9:02 to go in the second quarter. Baker 14, Port St. Joe 7. Back after this.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM. Tonight's game in the 2018 FHSAA Class 1A Football Championships is sponsored by the Florida High School Athletic Association. The FHSAA is a democratic organization with a membership of more than 800 middle and senior high schools, all committed to ensuring that Florida student-athletes can compete fairly and equitably in an educational environment. The Florida High School Athletic Association, building leaders through teamwork, sportsmanship, and citizenship.
Want to of our sponsors this year for our live coverage of Baker Gator varsity football is Wise Equipment in Crestview. Wise Equipment specializes in sales and services of Kubota and John Deere mowers and tractors. They carry Steel and John Deere chainsaws, line trimmers, and blowers. Plus, they have John Deere toys. All products are backed by a manufacturer's warranty. Wise Equipment is located at 1147 South Purdon Boulevard in Crestview and can be reached at 850-682-3366.
And welcome back. Second down, 14 for the Gators from the 15. Rockwell back to pass. Goes downfield. He's got a man wide open, and it's just off his fingertips. Trying to hit Kenny Williams, and Kenny was backpedaling and just couldn't bring it in, but it's just off his fingertips. Incomplete pass. Now third down for the Gators.
Oh, that hurts as bad as the false start or the illegal procedure that called back that big pass from Butts to Harmon. And my goodness, Kenny Williams was as open as you could possibly be. The Sharks just totally missed him as he gets to the corner of the end zone. And Rockwell with a pass that's just a little bit short, and Kenny not quite able to bring that in for what would have been a certain touchdown.
Yeah, the closest Port St. Joe Shark was over in Crestview on that play, but Kenny Williams wide open. Peyton Rockwell back to pass again, rolls right. Throwing for the end zone, and again, just off the fingertips of Junior McLaughlin. He wants a flag for pass interference, but there is no flag on that play.
No.
But back-to-back passes by Peyton, and they both go incomplete, but Junior well covered.
Yeah.
And brings up now 4th and 14 from the 15-yard line, and no surprise here that looks like the Gators will be going for it.
Port St. Joe really giving them all they can on defense right now, trying to keep this a one-possession game and get this ball back. So two great plays by their secondary there. Well, really the first one was not a great play by their secondary. That the line got a little bit of pressure on on Rockwell, and I think he released that ball a little before he wanted to, didn't quite get enough on it. And that second time he was getting pressured heavily, and great coverage by that secondary. Now 4th and 15, we'll see if the Gators can convert.
And Peyton back to pass. Good protection. He gets a great block from Zach Mason and gets the ball off. I believe that's Ashton Morrison. And he stopped just shy of the goal line.
So they'll pick up the first down then.
They will, because they had to get just inside the one. And it was a touchdown, but yeah, it's a first down. And now 4 plays from the 1-yard line.
And that's as close as you could get without scoring the touchdown, but picking up the first down. The Gators do it. Rockwell makes something out of nothing right there. It's getting pressured hard, but again, you saw as soon as the block was missed, the lineman came right back, blocked that extra second as Peyton is rolling up in the pocket. He finds his man, I believe you said Ashton Morrison.
Right.
And hits him perfectly, and Morrison showing some great work with his legs and gets into the end zone perhaps. It looks like there's some celebration here.
Zach Mason was the one that threw that great block.
It was Zach Mason, yeah.
Yeah. I believe they were just celebrating
the first down. Okay.
Yeah, the first down of Peyton Rockwell and Ashton Morrison on that play. But his first and goal, the ball inside the one. Now Peyton comes out and McLaughlin back in the Wildcat formation. McLaughlin, the quarterback keeper, he goes straight ahead. And there's the signal. Touchdown, Baker Gators. They were kind of slow to give the hands up, but finally, so McLaughlin with his second touchdown, and it's just a 1-yard dive, and the Gators on top 20-7.
Yeah.
8:25 left till the half.
And that touchdown set up by a 4th and 15 first down conversion by Rockwell to Morrison, and then McLaughlin just gets to finish it off there. And now a 2-possession game. If you're the Sharks, this is a position you cannot afford to be in against this Gator offense. Once they push their foot down on the throttle, there's no letting up until this one's out of hand.
The kick is up, and it is good. 8:25 to go until the half. Your new score, Baker 21, Port St. Joe 7. Back in a moment.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
We are proud to acknowledge the support of Whitehurst Powell Funeral Home in Crestview. They are a family-owned and operated funeral home, open 7 days a week, and can handle all funeral needs. Plus, they offer advanced planning. Whitehurst Powell is also home to the Southern Heritage Crematory. They are located at 436 James Lee Boulevard, and the phone number is 850-682-3052. Owner Andy Powell is committed to caring for you in your time of need, and is also proud to help make coverage of Baker Gator football possible.
And welcome back to Baker. Real quick, the score in the Crestview-Armwood game is now Armwood 21 and Crestview 15. Here it is Baker 21, Port St. Joe 7 with 8:25 to go in this second quarter. And now Brian Holly set to kick off. And there's a whistle. And see what the holdup is here.
I'd like to see him kick deep again. This kickoff team for Baker has really gotten better about being able to track down the returner. And as we saw in that previous possession, Joe Brunson laying the punishing hit. So I'd like to see Holly kick deep again and give the Sharks a longer field to work with.
Yeah, Joe Brunson likes to either, whether it's a straightaway kick or a pooch kick, Joe Brunson likes to deliver the hit.
That's right.
And the hits keep on coming.
That's it.
Right.
He could have his own commercial, but Joe Brunson. He's got great eye discipline. Like, he really knows where that ball is, and he is able to track down ball carriers like it's nothing.
Not sure what the holdup is, but now Brian Holly comes back in. Looks like Junior McLaughlin and Shane White swap positions on the kickoff coverage team.
Might have been an equipment issue or something.
Might have been.
Of the sort.
And back deep for the Sharks. Reed to the near side and Gant on the far side. There's the whistle, and here we go. Pooch kick by Holly. And it's still alive. Finally picked up by Harmon, and he gets popped. Now he reverses the field, and Harmon's going to the left. He's to the 40, the 45, the 50. A flag comes in. Harmon's to the 35. He's still going 5-4 out of bounds near the Baker 30, but a flag is down back here, and usually that indicates some kind of block in the back against the receiving team. But
that's
the pooch kick, the first receiver, and I believe that was Josh Farmer, just let it bounce, and then Harmon picks it up because that ball is live.
Right, yeah.
And Harmon got popped but kept his balance and goes to his left and gets down to the Gator 30, but this flag is going to bring this back. So 2 flag sets we've seen against Port St. Joe that has nullified some big plays for the Sharks.
Oh, yeah, and right there, that's huge because, as you said, Harmon just had great awareness there to pick it up, gets bounced off a couple of bad tackles, and then just reverses field to take it all the way up that sideline. Would have given them a very short field, about 30 yards to the end zone. But instead, the flag is actually going to be against the Gators.
Well, this does change everything. I've not seen the penalty yet. It's a personal foul against the Gators.
Yeah.
So the big run by Harmon will be enhanced even further down the field, and that's a big break for the Sharks. They'll have the ball 1st and 10 at the Baker 20-yard line. 8:11 to go in this first half. And the Gators lead at 21-7, but the Sharks in striking distance from the Gator 20.
That's what they had to have here. Down 2 possessions already. You have to score on this drive to maintain at least a 1-possession game. Otherwise, you will get behind, and the Gators really take advantage of that. Once they smell blood, they're going in for the kill, and they would run away with this game if the Sharks let them. So we'll see here a short field, only about 20 yards to the end zone, if the Sharks can pound this one in and close that gap.
Josh Butts is under center this time. There's the whistle, and here we go. It's a man in motion. Butts hands off to his running back. That's Gant up the middle, and Gant is brought down quickly. Tackle made by Devin Jordan. And I believe it's Peyton Rockwell. Or Trey Coleman, perhaps.
Yeah. And actually, that might have been Jasmine Thomas, the fullback there. takes it up the middle. One of the big fullbacks that's actually been pretty good for Port St. Joe on the year.
You're right. That's number 4, not number 1. My bad.
Yep. Thomas actually one of the leading rushers, 67 carries on the year, a little over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
It's a 4-yard pickup, second down, 6 from the 16. And this time it's Isaiah Wright with the handoff, and Isaiah Wright has a Shark first down inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line of the Gators.
That's a good run by Wright, just kind of bobbing and weaving a little bit, finding some space on the far side, getting up the sideline, and then picking up that first down. So now Sharks really threatening here with a new set of downs.
First and goal from the Baker 8-yard line. 7:20 to go in the first half. Baker 21, Port St. Joe 7.
And this is also where the Gators really buckle down on defense, so the Sharks are really going to have to work if they want to get this touchdown here.
And Butts hands off. Again, that is Isaiah Thomas, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Port St. Joe.
Jasmine Thomas.
Jasmine Thomas.
Fullback, yep.
Hey, we're trying here.
That's right. But, yeah, another great run by Thomas. And, I mean, really the offensive line for Port St. Joe kind of had their way with the Gators on that possession, provided a wide-open lane. Jasmine basically walks into the end zone there. And now they're closing that gap a little bit as they add another touchdown there.
And they're set up by the big kickoff return and then the penalty.
Yeah. And there's a costly Gator penalty that added some extra easy yards for Port
And
St.
another
Joe.
flag from the White Hat. Joel Bogart set to kick the extra point, and this one goes against the Sharks.
Yeah, it was an illegal substitution. It's going to pull them back 5 yards, but Bogart's a great field goal kicker on the year. 47 of 50 on extra points coming into this game, and he's 1 for 1 tonight. So a few yards back here, and we'll see if he'll be able to add that 1 point.
You're not sure what his distance is exactly, but he is near 95%, you said, on the extra points this season. 7:05 to go in this first half. Now Joel Bogart for the extra point. The ball is down. The kick is up. It is perfect. So your new score now, Baker 21, Port St. Joe 14. Back in a moment.
You're listening to the 2018 FHS AA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
This radio ministry relies heavily upon its gracious supporters to survive, like Days Tire Pros in Crestview. In addition to tires with a national warranty, they have a complete car care center, providing brake jobs, front end and rear end alignments, oil change, lube and filter, shocks, belts, air conditioning, and so much more. Days is located where they've been for nearly 4 decades of service, on Highway 85 South, which is also home to Pack Rat Mini Storage. The phone number, 850-682-5088. Thanks, Kim and staff, for your support. Days Tire Pros, home of the hassle-free guarantee.
And welcome back to Baker. After a touchdown run by Jasmine Thomas. Did I get it right that time, Seth?
You got it correct.
All right. The Gators' lead's been cut to 21-14. 7:05 to go in this first half. And now Bogart set to kick off for the Sharks.
Like I said before, that was absolutely pertinent for Port St. Joe to score a touchdown on that possession, bring it back to a one-possession game, and now their defense is really going to have their work cut out to try to stop the Gators for the first time tonight on offense.
And a pooch kick by Bogart. And his Peoples at his 25, 30, 35, still going and runs into a school of Sharks. And now there's a fist thrown by a Port St. Joe Shark hitting Trey Colmetz. The crowd doesn't like it, but there's no flag, so Port St. Joe may have got away with one there, Seth. But, yeah, a punch thrown by the Sharks.
He definitely got away with that. Colmetz is coming in, not late, coming in to help try to push Peoples forward a little bit. And he comes off, and it looks like he's just pulling the Shark player off, and he did not take kindly to that and throws that swing at Trey. And Trey does the smart thing, just walks away, but fortunately no flag to aid him for his troubles there.
6:57 left in this first half. First and 10 Baker from their 38. The Gators on top, 21-14. Junior, quarterback keeper, right side. Weaving in and out and gets a short gain to about the 40-yard line. Brings up second down 8 for the Gators.
Yeah, another read option, and this time McLaughlin decides to keep it for himself. Try to go to that right side, and Sharks kind of shut that one down. McLaughlin only able to pick up a couple yards. 2nd long now.
And now Madaleska comes into the Baker lineup. Trey Cometz comes out. 2nd down, 8 for the Gators from their 40-yard line. Clock rolling, 6:21 to go in this first half. Baker on top, 21-14. Again, McLaughlin in the backfield. Fakes the handoff, keeps it, and he looks like he might have lost his footing. He's tackled by Bubba Ash. No gain, 3rd down, 8 for the Gators.
Yeah, Bubba Ash and Nick Jefferson coming in there. It's a fake jet sweep. McLaughlin keeps it and just has absolutely nowhere to go as Ash and Jefferson are immediately wrap up his legs and bring him down for the loss. So 3rd and 9 now. And we'll see as Peyton Rockwell comes back in. We might see a pass here on 3rd down, or that could be a little bit of trickery as that might open up some space for the runners to run.
Brandon score comes wide to the left. 5:35 left in this first half. 3rd down and 9, as Seth said, from the 40. And there's some confusion, and a flag comes in. Port St. Joe picks up the ball, and that was number 21, Caleb Butts. But the whistle blown, I guess some illegal procedure looks like against the Gators. And
yep.
Port St. Joe fans are really getting behind their Sharks.
And just,
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
That's the worst timing on that false start. It's 3rd and long already. Now you went from a 3rd and 9 to a 3rd and 14. And, I mean, not that limits your options. If you're the Gators, you have big playmakers that can pick up 95 yards, so it doesn't really matter. But we'll see now if that changes Coach Brunson's plans on 3rd.
Peyton back to pass. Good protection. Looking. Going deep. Downfield. Into double coverage. And it's intercepted by the Sharks. And they're back to the 50, the 40, the 35. Still going. There's a flag down. Back down the field. So the Sharks return it almost to the the goal line, but a flag is down back here where the interception took place.
A couple others thrown. There were some helmets thrown by the Port St. Joe Sharks over on their sideline, and that's definitely going to pull some flags. There might have been pass interference on that throw. It's into double coverage that Peyton Rockwell is throwing in, and that's why it's easily picked off. And then he actually made the touchdown-saving tackle over there on the sideline. But, yeah, some tempers flaring now, and we'll let the white hat, the rest of the Zebras, sort it out over there.
Well, the great pass by Peyton. I mean, just a beautiful pass, but a dangerous pass into double coverage. Exactly right. The clock stops at 4:57 while they sort this out. Baker leads at 21-14. Now they have still some discussion, but they have brought the ball back to the Baker 35-yard line.
And if it holds up that there was a pass interference, that's going to be another big flag that's going to take back a just great Port St. Joe play. I mean, it's a great interception and return that gets them all the way down and what they might have been able to completely close the gap inside this game up. But instead, we'll see.
Well, that is the call, pass interference against the Sharks. Now, that's not a spot foul, I don't believe. It's just a 15-yard automatic first down.
Yep. And that's still something you don't want as a Shark. That's a just quick and easy first down. What should have been nearly a pick six is going to keep the Gators' drive moving. And they're going to be almost into Port St. Joe territory after that flag.
And they are still marching down the field.
Yeah, the pass interference was compounded by the unsportsmanlike penalty, I believe, that might have also been assessed on that play. So Gators will be at the 40.
Right, they placed the ball at the Shark 40-yard line. Automatic first down. 4:57 left in this first half. And Baker on top of Port St. Joe, 21-14. And now an official timeout taken, and we'll take it as well. Be back after this.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
WTJT would like to thank Harris Fence of Baker, Florida for their support of WTJT and live coverage of Baker Gator football. Harris Fence offers a wide range of fencing services and supplies which include chain link, galvanized or vinyl coated, wood, privacy or picket, PVC, privacy, 3-rail, etc., and ornamental aluminum. They also offer various styles and brands. They do residential, commercial, and industrial work as well as offer free estimates and military and senior citizen discounts. Harris Fence is fully licensed and insured, and they have been serving Okaloosa, Walton, and Santa Rosa County for 21 years with 35 years experience. They are also a member of the Better Business Bureau. Harris Fence is located at 1588 Garrett Mill Road in Baker, Florida, and they can also be contacted by phone at 537-6169. Thanks again to Harris Fence and James and Rebecca Harris for your support of WTJT and our local football team.
And welcome back to Baker after just a couple of miscues by the Sharks. The Gators have the ball in great field position at the Port St. Joe 40-yard line. 4:57 left into the half. Baker on top, 21-14. Junior in the backfield, looking to pass. Now keeps the ball. Now throws it out to Eric McQueen. McQueen's got it at the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Baker Gators. Touchdown, Eric McQueen. What a play. He faked the pass to Derek Peoples in the flat and then goes to his tight end, McQueen, down the field. Now, hold on, Seth. There's a flag down, so this may be coming back as well.
I think he crossed the line as he was throwing that. That's going to be an illegal forward pass. He was running up toward the line, and I think he crossed it, and that's going to come all the way back. But, man, I love that play call. I think Coach Brunson's been keeping that in his back pocket. He's had a lot of success on those screens, and as Junior fakes it, McQueen is just running free. They're going to wave the flag off.
They wave the flag off. After some discussion, they determined that he had not crossed the line of scrimmage.
Wow.
So a 40-yard pass from McLaughlin to his tight end, Eric McQueen. And it is touchdown Baker Gators. 27-14, 4:47 to go.
So I will reiterate, I still love that play call. The Sharks are biting on the would-be screen pass. McQueen is running absolutely free. And the great hands from the defensive end / tight end. McLaughlin hits him in perfect stride. And McQueen takes it in for another touchdown. Great work by the offense there. And now back to a 2-possession lead. Sharks' heads are spinning right now.
I love the way you use that analogy. There's a bad snap. Holly picks it up trying to score, and he can be brought down about the 15-yard line, so the extra point is no good. Nonetheless, Baker leads 27-14. Back in a moment.
Oh, what was that analogy?
About first how they bid on that. The Sharks bid.
Oh, yeah.
And they smell blood in the water.
Oh, you like that?
Earlier, yeah. I caught that analogy a couple times there. Yeah, I knew what you were doing. That's pretty good.
That's a little science for you folks out there.
Yeah, a little sci-fi there.
But you're listening to the 2018 FHSAA football state semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
Milligan Assembly of God is a proud sponsor of Baker Gator football. Our service times are on Sundays at 9:30 for Sunday school, 10:30 for morning worship, and 6 p.m. for Sunday night explosion. Our midweek service is on Wednesday nights starting at 7 p.m. and there's something for every age group of the family. You can connect with us at mag.church. And you can check us out on Facebook. From Pastor Mike White and the congregation of Milligan Assembly of God, we want to say,
Go Gators, yeah!
And welcome back to Baker High School. A 40-yard pass. Well, actually, it was a short pass. It's a 40-yard play.
Maybe about 10 yards in the air.
Exactly. But Eric McQueen, not the prettiest pass by Junior, but Eric McQueen had to go up and made a leap and catch and runs it in. And he was wide open.
Yeah.
The nearest man was probably 5 yards or so behind. And Eric McQueen showing his burst of speed and into the end zone. The extra point was no good. It was a bobbled snap or a bobbled hold. And anyway, it is now Baker 27, Port St. Joe 14, 4:47 left in this first half. And now a high pooch kick by Holly. Junior McLaughlin picks it up and runs into the end zone.
That is the wildest thing.
Yeah, Port St. Joe just watched the ball bounce, and Junior jumps up, taps the ball, brings it in, and races into the end zone. But now I have not seen an official.
I don't know that he stepped out of bounds.
I don't think he did. We're waiting to see the signal. Okay,
It's Gator ball.
It's Gator ball. It's not a touchdown, but it's Gator ball. But what a heads-up play by Junior. And that's one thing that Coach Brunson likes about the pooch kick is that's why he does that, because of that kind of result. And what a heads-up play by Junior to tap that ball, and your Port St. Joe just kind of watch it.
That's a miscue by their return team. Just no awareness that, hey, this is a live ball. It's coming slow, but the Gator kick team is coming at them fast. And Junior with the heads-up play to tip that to himself, and really not sure that he stepped out of bounds. If he didn't, that's a touchdown right there. Easy, but regardless, they're going to take the ball back over. And now this is where you see the Gators really start to just get in a rhythm and truck right along. So definitely different picture than how that game went 3 years ago in the state semis.
Exactly. Timeout, Port St. Joe. We'll take it and be right back in just a moment.
You're listening to the 2018 FHS football state semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
WTJT would like to thank Jason Norton and Baker Metalworks for allowing us to bring live Baker Gator football coverage to the listeners of WTJT. Baker Metalworks offers a large variety of colors, and they are all Energy Star rated. They have 4 profile styles with 29 and 26 gauge. They also have delivery available, and all of their materials are Florida product approved. Baker Metalworks is located at 5846 Highway 189 in Baker. They can be reached by phone at 850-537-2010. Thanks again to Baker Metalworks for all of your support here at WTJT.
And welcome back to Baker, 1st and 10, Gators for the Port St. Joe 32. Derek Peoples on the handoff, and he's going to be corralled quickly. Tackle made by 21, that is Caleb Butts. And Seth, real quick, down in Madison County, it is Madison County 10, Hawthorne nothing. Now, tonight's winner between Baker Port St. Joe plays the winner between Madison and Hawthorne right now in the third quarter. Madison on top 10-0. And it's still Armwood 21, Crestview 15 in the third quarter. And here the rain has begun to fall.
We might see a lot of continued run plays here rather than try to put that ball in the air on a pass. And now we might see some sloppiness, maybe some fumbles here, chances for some turnovers.
Under 4 minutes now in the first half. Junior hands off to Peoples. Peoples busted that front line, and he's brought down about the 25-yard line. Going to bring up third down and short for the Gators.
Peoples just has such great acceleration when he gets that ball. He doesn't quite have the patience of Junior, as Junior will kind of wait a little bit, try to look for his best hole, take his best option and go. But Peoples has that great acceleration that as soon as he sees that hole, he bursts through it and he's gone. And right there, picks up great yards, about 7 on that second down play to bring up this third and short.
Yeah, third down 4 from the 26-yard line, 3:17 to go in the first half. This time Junior keeps the ball. Follows his blocker. He's to the 15, the 10. Cuts it back inside. Touchdown, Baker Gators.
And can I just say how much I love to watch those big linemen for Baker as they block. Right there, you see them running downfield with McLaughlin, still providing blocks as he runs. And right there, that was Taylor Barrow, Carter Mason on that left side, and they just give Junior all the space that he wants. Junior with a one cut once he gets about 5 yards out from the end zone, takes it in the rest of the way, almost untouched. Another beautiful run by number 2, who's just continuing to make it happen tonight.
And you talk about his patience, and that's what he did. He puts his hand on the back of his blockers. You know, let him guide him like a C&I dog, I guess, for lack of a better example.
Or like following a tank.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they are tanks up there.
They are.
And tanks for that, saying that. They're going for 2 points here. McLaughlin in the backfield and keeps the ball. And he's into the end zone. The 2-point try. It is good. 3:07 left in this first half. And Baker on top 35-14. And we'll take a break and be back in a moment.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA football state semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
Hi, this is Tony from Baker Feed and Country Store. The Baker Gator football season is back, and we are proud supporters of WTJT's live Baker Gator football program. Baker Feed and Country Store has all your fall food plot, seed, and fertilizer needs, along with corn, rice bran, pellets, and blocks. We carry Justin boots, belts, wallets, and Wrangler jeans. Baker Feed and Country Store is located on the right at the light in downtown Baker and can be reached by phone 537-1000. Again, that's 537-1000. Go Gators!
And welcome back to Baker. The rain is coming down, and the Gators are going up in points, 35-14, with 3:07 left in this first half. And safety of Port St. Joe, just several miscues tonight. You know, the pass interference on the interception and holding or a legal procedure call on a big pass play, and then on the pooch kick. Just a heads-up play by Junior McLaughlin, and they make them pay for it.
Yeah, they're really hurting themselves. That's the biggest thing. And against a team like Baker, you can't afford to have miscues on your own end and try to stop them as they're executing and firing on all cylinders. And that's what we're seeing right now.
And another pooch kick. This one sails way out of bounds this time, and let it be a flag. And so Port St. Joe not electing to have Baker re-kick this one. And they'll have the ball 1st and 10, about the 40-yard line. But, yeah, Port St. Joe, yeah, we hadn't really seen much of them this year. Knew that they were undefeated and beat a 4A school, Mariana, 14-9. Beat Bluntstown last week, beat Jefferson County to get here. And, of course, undefeated, but I don't just, we said, 2 or 3 miscues, and they're behind 21 points.
And also, they were known as a big defensive team. Coming into the game, they were only giving up 5.6 points per game. In the playoffs, actually, they'd only given up about 10. So, I mean, they are a really strong team defensively, and tonight their defense has just been completely outmatched by a Gator offense, and their offense struggling against a very fortress-like Gator defense.
Josh Butts. Back to pass, and he's going to be hot pursuit by Devin Jordan. Now goes down the field, trying to hit his man, number 9. That is Drew Jones, but it goes incomplete. But a great that was Carter Mason. My bad. Carter Mason was in hot pursuit of Josh Butts, and pass goes incomplete, but a diving attempt by Drew Jones, and now 2nd down 10 for the Gators. And Seth, real quick, now in the 4th quarter, Madison County 17, Hawthorne nothing. Madison County 17-0. Again, that winner plays this winner for the state championship next week in Orlando.
And Carter Mason was tracking him hard. Butts is doing all he can to try to find somebody downfield, and he almost has his man Drew Jones on that sideline, but not quite able to bring it in, so bring up a 2nd and 10.
Josh Butts under center. In motion is Wright. And Wright gets the ball. He gets sacked for a loss by Trey Colmetz. Trey Colmetz takes him back to about the 25-yard line.
I believe that's Peyton Rockwell.
That's who I said. Peyton Rockwell on the sack.
You can tell Trey by his shoes. Trey has his green shoes.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, Peyton Rockwell coming from that defensive back position. The Gators like to run a lot of those safety blitzes, and right there, Peyton was just in the backfield. Wright has absolutely no chance. Peyton, a big, strong guy, just rips him down, and that is a heavy, heavy loss for this 3rd and long, and it's an obvious passing situation, and looks like Port St. Joe's going to take some time to talk this one out, perhaps.
3rd down and 21 from the 29-yard line. 2:23 left in this first half. Baker 35 and Port St. Joe 14. And the rain's coming down. Not bad, but enough to bring the umbrellas out.
But my goodness, what a great tackle by Peyton Rockwell. Just comes in completely untouched and then finds Wright. A beautiful form tackle. Rips him down for that huge loss. And now really 3rd and huge distance to overcome.
Yeah, 3rd and 21, and Josh Butts hands off to his running back. He fumbles the ball. It is picked up by Derek Peoples. Peoples to the 30, the 20, the 10. He's going to score. Thank you for coming. See you next week. What a run by Derek Peoples on a fumble recovery. It was fumbled by Reed. Just lost the ball there about the 45, and Derek Peoples just takes on the first bounce.
Yep.
Races into the end zone, and what a play.
And you know who helped force that fumble was Who else? Number 9, Joe Brunson, takes out those legs. Wright just not able to maintain possession. And Peoples with the phenomenal awareness to see that ball, scoop it, take it all the way up the sideline. And then, again, like I said, the Gators, great blockers. One of the defensive linemen, I believe that was Taylor Barrow, actually, that was running down the sideline with Peoples, provided that last extra block to get Peoples into the end zone untouched. And now the Gators, I mean, absolutely rolling here in the first half, completely dominating.
And now for the extra point is Brian Holly. Port St. Joe trying to make Baker move, and they may have jumped off sides. And Seth, real quick, Crestview has taken the lead 22-21 over Armwood in the third quarter.
Wow. And that's coming back from a 21-8 deficit early in that game. And Crestview on their way back. It's going to be a great final finish down there in South Florida.
Indeed. And here Baker seems to be in complete control. It is offsides against Port St. Joe. It is declined. 2:03 and left in this first half, and Baker up top 41-14. And now Seth, Armwood has just retaken the lead 28-22 over Crestview. The kick is short.
It's blocked.
Blocked, no good. Regardless, Baker on top 41-14. We'll take a break and be back in just a moment.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
WTJT and the Baker Gators are proud to recognize Baker Parts in downtown Baker as a sponsor of live coverage of Baker Gator football. Baker Parts has auto parts and hardware for all household needs. Baker Parts is located at 1304 Georgia Avenue in Baker, and their phone number is 537-3131 or 537-4231. Thanks, Danny, and all the staff at Baker Parts for helping to make coverage of Baker Gator football possible on WTJT.
And welcome back to Baker. The Gators in complete control, just dominating the Sharks in this first half, 41-14. And we still have 2 minutes to go until halftime. And Seth, I know they've had several miscues, but I never thought that the game would get this far out of hand and this quick.
You know, we talked about it. It's the Final Four. You're expecting a game that may go well into the second half in terms of back and forth scoring, but Coach Brunson just seems to figure out opposing offenses so quickly, and then his team is so adept to make these changes that they need to and to really just absolutely shut down the offense, and that's what they've done thus far, and we're not even at halftime yet.
And Brian Holly push kicks out of bounds, so Port St. Joe will again have the ball first and 10 from their 40-yard line. And at the 2-minute mark in this first half, Baker 41 and Port St. Joe 14. And just what else can you say about this offense? I mean, they average, about 40 points a game?
The Baker offense?
Right,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, right at it, about 36 points per game, and that was in the that's just regular season, postseason combined. But in playoffs, they have averaged 46 points per game and only given up 18 per game. So, I mean, they are really stout. And now that it's playoff time, they've just seemed to turn it up an extra notch. And I think that's what we're seeing tonight. They have just come out as a force, and they want to get to the state championship game and show that they are a team that is ready to return to the top of Class 1A ball here in Florida.
At Port St. Joe in shotgun, and another flag comes in. Illegal substitution against the Sharks. And Seth, at this point in the season, some of these penalties just should not even exist.
Yeah.
It's, just really just a lack of discipline, maybe a lack of focus.
At this point, we might really be seeing some focus issues, and this is where you have to be careful of some of the senseless penalties that can come in as you're down, 4 scores. Port St. Joe's going to have to keep their heads on and just try to work back and close this gap a little bit.
And Bud's quarterback keeper stumbles, and he runs into a swamp of Gators. And some more punches being thrown downfield.
And Coach is not happy about that, as expected. Very uncalled for, and that's what I was just talking about. Port St. Joe starting to lose their heads a little bit And this is where you would expect some unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, but no flags thrown yet, and these fans and Coach Brunson absolutely furious about that.
Yeah, and that's one of the leading blockers for Port St. Joe, Trey Glam, throwing punches. I believe it was at Trey Colmetz.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, I don't know, tempers are just, I mean, this is for the state championship or to play in the state championship.
And you're down 27 points, too. That's what's hard. And this is where you really have to, again, be careful.
Second down, 12 from the 48. Butts to the air, and it's off the fingertips. And it was intended for Harmon. A well-covered Junior McLaughlin back there, along with Kenny Williams and I believe Trey Colmetz.
Yep. And Derek Peoples was the one who jumped over the top, batted that one away to make sure that wasn't going to get to a shark. And now a 3rd and long coming up again. And it looks like Armwood has taken the lead over Crestview 28-22 now in the 4th quarter. So a game that's really going to come down maybe to as the ball lasts.
Exactly. And last we heard Madison County over Hawthorne 17-0 in the 3rd. Here is 41-14. And Port St. Joe facing 3rd down, 12 from their 48-yard line. Shotgun formation. Butts back to pass. A flag comes in. Butts goes to the air, throws it out of bounds. Going for Harmon.
Yeah, I saw that one
by
from
Peoples.
Here. I don't know if you saw that one here from the booth. That was actually 7 Harmon is the one the flag's going to be called on. It was a false start. He tried to get about a half-foot head start on the sideline there, and they're going to call that every time. It's going to be an extra 5 yards for maybe a 3rd and 17 now.
Against this Baker defense, you need a head start.
Yeah, you do. And when they catch you, it's not going to be good, and now they've got even longer to try to convert on this 3rd down.
Well, actually, it's illegal shift, yeah. And it is declined. So they will make it 4th and 12 for Port St. Joe back at their 48. 54 seconds left in this first half. And Seth, this first half seems like it's been longer than usual, especially this second quarter.
A lot more passes, kind of elongate.
And penalties.
Penalties, passes, and that's going to elongate your clock. And now they're
Joel Bogart back to punt for the Sharks. And it will hit about the Baker 20-yard line and roll out of bounds. And so the Gators will have 43 seconds to go about 80 yards. Can they do it and score one more time?
Well, you know they're capable of it, obviously. Junior McLaughlin on the year. You remember, it was several games ago now, a 95-yard touchdown run, one play from his own 5-yard line. First play of the drive, he took it. So Gators are more than capable of one play, long runs by Junior McLaughlin, Derek Peoples. Pick your poison. Any number of these weapons are more than capable.
We'll see what Coach Brunson decides to do here, if he decides just to take it into the half with this lead or put more points.
And he's still got 2 timeouts in his pocket, too, so more than enough time with 53 seconds and 2 timeouts to try to make something happen here and really elongate this lead, make it a 5-score game, something that you would absolutely not expect here in a state semifinal game.
Well, Peyton Rockwell just takes a knee, and apparently that's what Coach Brunson is satisfied to do.
I respect that.
Yeah, exactly. Take a 41-14 lead into the locker room. And Seth, the rain looks like it has stopped momentarily. Good news for the fans.
Sure.
And that's what they're going to do. We got 14 more seconds. And now the teams are heading off to the locker room. So your halftime score from Doug Griffith Stadium is the Baker Gators 41, the Port St. Joe Sharks 14, and back in a moment.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM. The FHSAA is now on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Tweet us, like us, and tag us on your social platforms by searching for FHSAA. Keep up with teams and people who strive to make high school athletics in the state of Florida the best. Be a fan of it by following us on social media at FHSAA.
WTJT would like to say thank you to the Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union for supporting our coverage of Baker Gator football. Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union offers a wide variety of financial services with 4 locations, including the Baker branch location at the entrance to Baker School next to the Gator Cafe. They can be reached at 850-537-9815 or on the web at OkaloosaFCU.org. You can be a member of the credit union if you live, work, or worship or attend school in Okaloosa County. For all your financial needs, it's Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union. Achieving goals together.
Thank you, Brackney Funeral Service in Crestview, for your support. Brackney Funeral Service is located on Highway 90 East. They are locally owned and operated and provide all the traditional funeral services, including burials and cremations. And the telephone number is 683-9898. 683-9898. Terry Brackney is the funeral director. Again, thanks Terry and Brackney Funeral Service for giving to WTJT.
WTJT is honored to recognize the support of Adams Sanitation to this ministry. Adams is locally owned and operated and has been for more than 35 years. They offer twice weekly pickup featuring automated trucks. No bagging of trash required. Adams also offers complimentary pickup of small bulk items, appliances, bagged yard waste, plus complimentary service to any church within their service area. They have 65 or 96-gallon rolling cans and pricing plans specifically for the senior 65 and older. The phone number to Adams Sanitation is 537-3282. The website is adamsanitation.com.
One of our sponsors this year for our live coverage of Baker Gator varsity football is Wise Equipment in Crestview. Wise Equipment specializes in sales and services of Kubota and John Deere mowers and tractors. They carry Steel and John Deere chainsaws, line trimmers, and blowers. Plus, they have John Deere toys. All products are backed by a manufacturer's warranty. Wise Equipment is located at 1147 South Ferdon Boulevard in Crestview and can be reached at 850-682-3366.
We are proud to acknowledge the support of Whitehurst Powell Funeral Home in Crestview. They are a family-owned and operated funeral home, open 7 days a week, and can handle all funeral needs. Plus, they offer advanced planning. Whitehurst Powell is also home to the Southern Heritage Crematory. They are located at 436 James Lee Boulevard, and the phone number is 850-682-3052. Owner Andy Powell is committed to caring for you in your time of need and is also proud to help make coverage of Baker Gator football possible.
For the latest official news about Florida high school sports, including results of all rounds in the 2018 FHS AA Football Championships, visit FHSAA.org, the official website of the Florida High School Athletic Association. That's www.fhsaa.org. Catch live and on-demand postseason coverage of Florida high school sports at www.nfhsnetwork.com. Brought to you by the NFHS Network, the official online partner of the FHSAA.
And welcome back to Doug Griffith Memorial Stadium. It is halftime. The Baker Gators are in complete control of the Port St. Joe Sharks, 41-14. And Seth, I believe you had a shout-out that you wanted to pass along.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give a shout-out to a couple of my friends over in Holmes County listening tonight. Whitney, Carly, and Kendall, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Hope you're having a good night over in Holmes County.
And also to our good friend Ricky Elliott. Despite his comment about Roll Tide, thanks, Ricky, for listening to us as well. Well, Seth, speaking about shout-outs, you know, it's common sense. You know, there's other sports here at Baker besides football. But also, we want to recognize one of our senior softball players. It is Miss Shelby Sloan. She has signed with the University of South Alabama, the Jaguars from the Sun Belt Conference over in Mobile, Alabama. She signed with them this past Wednesday, and when she graduates here, that's where she'll be heading to, the University of South Alabama. So congratulations to Shelby Sloan from Baker, the lady softball players. And Seth, with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, it is Madison County 24, Hawthorne nothing. So it looks like Madison County will be heading to Orlando, and unless things change here, so will the Baker Gators. Your comments on the first half and also some of your keys to tonight's game.
Yeah, I'll start with my keys first. So for Baker, number one key, let him run. Who am I talking about? Who else but number 2, Junior McLaughlin? Listen, it's the state semifinal. What's worked all season? Giving McLaughlin the ball any way possible and just letting him run. He's prolific, he's patient, he's powerful, and he's a point-accumulating runner as well as an infrequent, yet successful passer, as we saw tonight, and also an electrifying return man when he gets the chance. He's one of the, if not the primary reasons that Baker is here tonight. Number 2 has taken the Gators to this game, being one game away from the championship, and I believe he'll carry them to the promised land, and he's showing up tonight doing that same thing. Now, number 2, Wildcat to play action. And that's exactly what we've seen tonight. The Wildcat worked so well against Vernon last week. They've implemented it tonight, and they're ahead 41-14. It speaks for itself. A few times this season we've seen them utilize that Wildcat, as we talked about earlier in the season. And with Junior taking direct snaps, you get the ball immediately in his hands and give him the opportunity to run as soon as he has the snap. And also with another weapon, as we mentioned earlier, Peoples in the backfield with him. You just have opportunity after opportunity to make something big happen on offense. And it's also helped to lure this defense into a false sense of security. They start to put too many men in the box. They lose eye discipline on the football, and then the Gators beat them deep on a pass, like we saw where McLaughlin is able to hit McQueen on that little short pass on the fake screen pass. So I think as they continue to do that in the second half, the Wildcat is going to continue to set up these big passes and continue to work that little Wildcat formation. And number 3, and finally, cover Butts. And this isn't a joke. Josh Butts is the main passer as well as rusher for the Port St. Joe Sharks. And being that he's the dual threat, he is the guy that the Gators have to worry about the most. And tonight he's really been shut down pretty well, aside from a couple passes that were really good, and then the few that were called, the one big one that was called back on the penalty. They've done a great job of boxing him in. He works really well out of this wing C offense. He's a pretty good passer, as you already mentioned his stats earlier, 7 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns. So if the Gators hadn't have covered him well, hadn't worked too well in the secondary, I think we'd have a lot closer game. But they have done so well at containing him and keeping him from doing what has made his team successful all season. So now for Port St. Joe. Number 1 key for them was to score early and score often. For most teams that the Gators have played, the problem is really keeping up with an offense that is all but guaranteed to score at least 30 points. And tonight scoring 41 in the first half. So, I mean, the Gators haven't even allowed more than 21 points all season. So the key for the Sharks was really to make sure that Butts gets his carries, has opportunities to pass, his receivers make those plays, and produce drives that score. They had to have scoring drives. We've seen two punts tonight now. Also the turnovers, the fumble recovery, return for a touchdown, the miscue on the kick return where they let McLaughlin come in and recover what wasn't an onside kick, just a pooch punt, just bad awareness. And so they have not been able to score nearly as much as they need to and keep up with a Gator offense that is just clicking on all cylinders, and they're just moving at will right now. And number 2 is they needed to cage the playmaker. And who am I talking about? They needed to cage Junior McLaughlin, because nobody has really had an answer for him all season. He puts up at least 100 yards every game. Every game this season, he's had at least 100 yards. Usually it's over 200. And he's accounted for, I love these stats, 32 of Baker's 49 rushing touchdowns and 2,600 of their 4,000 rushing yards. So he is your guy. He's the guy that you have to contain. And if you don't do it, you're going to struggle. And that's why he's already put up a couple touchdowns tonight. Probably has well over 100 yards, just doing what he's done all season. But the defense is really what has to step up here in the second half. They have to try to contain this Baker offense and give their own offense some more opportunities to try to score. I mean, a 27-point comeback is not impossible. Remember, Navarre did it early in the season against Crestview, so it's not impossible to come back in the second half, but some severe changes and adjustments are going to have to be made on this defense to contain the Baker offense, and on the offensive side to try to combat a Gator defense that is just really coming after them with everything that they've got. And now finally, number 3 for the Port St. Joe Sharks is turnovers. They have to steal the ball and hold on to the ball. So one of the most impressive stats for them is actually their turnover difference. And so turnover difference, for anybody that doesn't know, is the difference between the giveaways and the takeaways. So being in the plus means you force more turnovers than you've given away. And both of these teams, Baker is plus 21 and Port St. Joe is plus 23 coming into this game. Tonight, the Gators haven't turned the ball over at all. The interception was called back. Port St. Joe has turned it over twice. there's your difference right there. You can't end up in the negative in that column against a Gator team that takes advantage of every single opportunity that they have the ball. Every single possession, they make something happen. So in the second half, besides the adjustments that I mentioned that need to be made, they are going to have to do everything they can, that every pass, every run, they do what they can to try to strip that ball, force a pick, do anything they can to steal some possessions, and try to put up 27 points.
Well, Seth, once again, I always enjoy your keys to the game. And one thing that you said that stuck out in my mind was Port St. Joe needed to score early and score often. They scored early. They just didn't score often enough.
Yep.
And this game can get quickly out of hand.
For sure.
And just want to pass this along to you as well. With 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Armwood 35, Crestview 22. Crestview's got their work cut out for them. They're going to come back and win this game. But they are down 35-22 with 6 minutes to go in that ball game there.
Yeah, not impossible, but a very, very difficult comeback for them right there.
Well, Seth, this has been a great season for us. Just in so many ways, we have been blessed that we've only had to travel to 2 road games, Jay and South Walton. We've had 8 home games scheduled, played 6, and then 4 straight playoff games here at home. And I just want to thank Coach Brunson, but also his entire staff. Rob Armstrong, John Carlisle, Steve Combass, Adam Henry, Josh Long, David Oglesby, Rusty Oglesby, and then, of course, my nephew, your cousin, linebacker coach Anthony Patton, as well as Denick Thomas and Andy Valmus. But also the athletic trainer from Andrews Institute, again, your cousin, Jessica Langston, for keeping these players going. But, it's just in my 12 years of broadcasting, not 12 years consecutive, but I've never broadcast. I had one undefeated season I got to broadcast. That was 2013 regular season. But an undefeated regular season, and up to this point, undefeated playoff season, 4 straight playoff road or home wins for the Baker Gators. And we have talked about all season long just the success of Matt Brunson. But you got look at this list of assistant coaches, and it's not just him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he finds ways to be a winner at every level of high school football, as a team manager, as a player, as an assistant coach, and as a head coach. And as we said earlier, unless things change, Baker is heading back to Orlando for another shot at a state championship, and it looks like it's going to be Madison County. But anyway, this first half, we thought would be closer, really did. And Port St. Joe, we already mentioned it. Several miscues, penalties, one of the big ones, and then just not being aware of where the ball was on this kickoff, and then losing the fumble. And I know the field for the past 3 weeks, it seems like it has been just still saturated, just still a lot of slippery spots out there, and just different things causing these turnovers. But, wow, what can you say about the Baker Gators? I mean, up by 27 in the first half.
Yeah, they've done so well. And literally now every facet of this game, offense, defense, and special teams, have all executed to near perfection. I mean, aside from it's not a shutout, but still only allowing 14 points in those 2 quarters while your offense puts up 41. I mean, that's phenomenal. And then Junior McLaughlin, as we mentioned again, that great awareness on that kickoff to come in, tip that ball to himself, and recover a would-be onside kick. So, I mean, just impressive work. And, I guess we shouldn't have been surprised that Baker would come here tonight and just try to run away with this game. And, that's really what they've done. And, honestly, the game over in Madison County was a little bit of a runaway, too. Final score, 24-0, Madison County over Hawthorne. So, both of these state semifinal games in Class 1A ball have been kind of runaway games. And so now the winner of this game tonight will face Madison County down in Orlando. But, yeah, this first half has just been absolutely phenomenal to watch. If you're a Gator fan, especially, if you're a Shark fan, you're really hoping your team can make some adjustments at halftime and come out and put together a second half of good football.
And we are being entertained by both the Port St. Joe Shark Marching Band and also by the Baker High School Marching Band. It is halftime. Your halftime score, Baker 41 and Port St. Joe 14. And we'll take a break and be back in just a moment.
and you're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
WTJT would like to thank Harris Fence of Baker, Florida for their support of WTJT and live coverage of Baker Gator football. Harris Fence offers a wide range of fencing services and supplies which include chain link, galvanized or vinyl coated, wood, privacy or picket, PVC, privacy, 3-rail, etc., and ornamental aluminum. They also offer various styles and brands. They do residential, commercial, and industrial work as well as offer free estimates and military and senior citizen discounts. Harris Fence is fully licensed and insured, and they have been serving Okaloosa, Walton, and Santa Rosa County for 21 years with 35 years experience. They are also a member of the Better Business Bureau. Harris Fence is located at 1588 Garrett Mill Road in Baker, Florida, and they can also be contacted by phone at 537-6169. Thanks again to Harris Fence and James and Rebecca Harris for your support of WTJT and our local football team.
This radio ministry relies heavily upon its gracious supporters to survive, like Days Tire Pros in Crestview. In addition to tires with a national warranty, they have a complete car care center, providing brake jobs, front end and rear end alignments, oil change, lube and filter, shocks, belts, air conditioning, and so much more. Days is located where they've been for nearly 4 decades of service on Highway 85 South, which is also home to Pack Rat Mini Storage. The phone number, 850-682-5088. Thanks, Kim and staff, for your support. Days Tire Pros, home of the hassle-free guarantee.
Milligan Assembly of God is a proud sponsor of Baker Gator football. Our service times are on Sundays at 9:30 for Sunday school, 10:30 for morning worship, and 6 p.m. for Sunday night explosion. Our midweek service is on Wednesday nights starting at 7 p.m. and there's something for every age group of the family. You can connect with us at mag.church. And you can check us out on Facebook. From Pastor Mike White and the congregation of Milligan Assembly of God, we want to say,
Go Gators, yeah!
WTJT would like to thank Jason Norton and Baker Metalworks for allowing us to bring live Baker Gator football coverage to the listeners of WTJT. Baker Metalworks offers a large variety of colors, and they are all Energy Star rated. They have 4 profile styles with 29 and 26 gauge. They also have delivery available, and all of their materials are Florida product approved. Baker Metalworks is located at 5846 Highway 189 in Baker. They can be reached by phone at 850-537-2010. Thanks again to Baker Metalworks for all of your support here at WTJT.
Hi, this is Tony from Baker Feed and Country Store. The Baker Gator football season is back, and we are proud supporters of WTJT's live Baker Gator football program. Baker Feed and Country Store has all your fall food plot, seed, and fertilizer needs, along with corn, rice bran, pellets, and blocks. We carry Justin boots, belts, wallets, and Wrangler jeans. Baker Feed and Country Store is located on the right at the light in downtown Baker and can be reached by phone 537-1000. Again, that's 537-1000. Go Gators!
WTJT and the Baker Gators are proud to recognize Baker Parts in downtown Baker as a sponsor of live coverage of Baker Gator football. Baker Parts has auto parts and hardware for all household needs. Baker Parts is located at 1304 Georgia Avenue in Baker, and their phone number is 537-3131 or 537-4231. Thanks, Danny, and all the staff at Baker Parts for helping to make coverage of Baker Gator football possible on WTJT.
And welcome back to Doug Griffith Memorial Stadium, home of your Baker Gators. It is halftime. We are just about to start the third quarter. Baker 41 and Port St. Joe 14. Mark and Seth with you on this Friday night, and sadly our last Friday this season anyway to be bringing you Baker Gator High School football.
Very bittersweet.
But it's been a great season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Glad to be a part of it. I want to thank our station manager, Robert Williamson, for asking us to come back this year and broadcast. And also want to say thanks to my youngest brother. Well, this is kind of a family affair here, Seth. But my youngest brother, Scott, for each week surfing the websites and sending us scores and keeping us up to date on different games around the area. And tonight, the Madison Hawthorne score, Again, Madison has shut out Hawthorne 24-0. So Madison is heading to Orlando,
Right.
and facing the winner of tonight's game between Baker and Port St. Joe. And right now, Port St. Joe has a lot of work to catch up, down 27 points as we start this third quarter. And Seth, anything you want to add about that first half? I mean, you really kind of nipped it in the bud. You know, just the miscues is the biggest thing I think is the biggest downfall for Port St. Joe right now.
Yeah, it's hit them hard. Well, I'll talk about something. So before this game, you and I were talking about this seemed like a really fairly even matchup based on some stats that we looked at. So I'll tell you about the playoff stats for each team. So we already talked about who each team had to play and beat to come in, both obviously undefeated here in the playoffs and finally meeting up. Coming into the game, just in the playoff games, Baker was averaging 389 yards on the ground. Add in 50 passing yards, so their total offense per game in the playoffs, 439 yards. They're averaging 46 points in these games and only giving up 18 in these games. And they had a plus 10 turnover difference, which means they were really able to force turnovers without turning the ball over themselves. I don't believe they've actually had any turnovers in these playoffs. Those were all forced turnovers, including, I believe, about 7 interceptions and then a couple of 3 fumble recoveries. But Port St. Joe on the other side, averaging 275 yards on the ground, 46 yards through the air, 321 yards of total offense just in the 3 playoff games. 40 points average, giving up only 10, and they also had a plus 10 turnover difference. So, I mean, looking at these teams, like, both had very strong offenses, had really good defenses, and so tonight it really just seemed like who was going to be able to break away with a couple of big plays, maybe some mistakes, and it's turned out tonight that mistakes, miscues, as you said, have really held Port St. Joe back, and then the Gator offense just taking advantage of every single Port St. Joe mistake, every single possession. They're scoring touchdowns. Baker has scored on every time they've had the ball in their possession. So, I mean, that's perfect offensive efficiency. You can't get any better than that. So, Port St. Joe is really going to have to break them down from that 100% in the second half if they want a chance to come back and try to get to the state championship game still.
And they scored on one time when they didn't have the ball.
Yeah, that's right.
Brian Holly set the kick off, and again, a push kick. They'll be taken by Harmon at his 35, and he tries to go forward. He's met by Sam Croson, Peyton Rockwell, Junior McLaughlin, and just a whole swamp full of Gators. Pushes him back to about the 35-yard line to give him his forward progress too, but
and we mentioned this before, it seems like teams that don't call a fair catch on these pooch kicks have not been watching the game film, don't realize that how quick this Gator kick team is coming at you. And Joe Brunson there along with Trey Colemitz and a couple others just right there to bring Harmon down. He doesn't have a chance to return that.
Well, the trick is to get the ball high enough, like a punt, where your team gets down there, and it's already going a short distance anyway.
Exactly. Yep.
But sometimes it sails out of bounds, and then sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes Joe Brunson's there to, hi, how you doing? You know.
Yep.
First and 10, Port St. Joe from their 35-yard line. The third quarter just underway, and 41-14, Port St. Joe down by 27. Josh Butts hands off to Thomas off the left side, and Thomas, or correction, that's not Thomas, that is Butts on the quarterback keeper, and he's out to the 48-yard line. He's got a first down for Port St. Joe.
So that time Butts actually fooled you and the Gator defense as he's able to take it off that sideline and pick up a first down, and that's what they have to have, especially on these first downs, is productive first down plays. No negative yards right there. A great first down run from Butts, finding some room on that far side, picking up the first down as they move closer to midfield now.
Yeah, 13-yard run by Josh Butts. It is first and 10. Port St. Joe from their 48 now. Butts jots back into shotgun formation. A low snap, picks it up, throws it out to Gant, who brings it in. Gant's across midfield, and he's going to be brought down by Peyton Rockwell at about the 49, 48-yard line, a short gain of about 4 yards. Second down, 6 for the Sharks.
Yeah, he tries to get Gann in the flats on that screen pass, and there's just not a whole lot of room to run there. Peyton Rockwell immediately in his face reads that play and finds him, brings him down. Still about a 4-yard gain. Not bad. Still a productive first down, which, as I said, is going to be very key in this second half.
10:55 to go in the third. 41-14, Baker on top. Butts Fakes the pitch, keeps the ball. A bad choice as he's brought down by Eric McQueen at about the 47-yard line. A yard gain. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 5. Also, John Madaleska assisting on that tackle.
Yeah, it's a speed option, but trying to go to that left side. Doesn't really have anything. If he pitches there, it's a dangerous pitch. All he can do is really hold it, and he still just has nowhere to go as that right side of the defensive line for the Gators tracks him down, brings him down for maybe about a half-yard loss.
Yeah, 3rd down and 6 from the Baker 48. Clock rolling at 10 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter. Your Gators on top, 41-14. Butts to the air. Hits Harmon, and Harmon gets popped by Peyton Rockwell at about the 35-yard line. And Seth, is a final. Crestview has lost to Armwood 35-22. So Crestview just one game shy of a trip to the state championship themselves. And
still a great regular season for them. Region 1 champions, so congrats to Crestview on still a great season.
Exactly. It is 4th and 2 from the Baker 44. The Sharks are in punt formation. Joel Bogart back to punt. And he gets away a nice high punt. Derek Peoples lets it bounce at about the 20-yard line. They will mark it at the 16, 1st and 10 Baker Gators.
I'm surprised there. That's about a 4th and 3, down 27 points that Port St. Joe elected not to go for it. They were in Gator territory, decided to punt that away. It's the safe call, but down 27 points, I expected to see them pretty much be in 4th down territory the rest of the second half until they were able to come back. So curious choice there, and their first drive fizzles out after a couple of good plays, and now the Gators are going to take back over, and we'll look to see them continue success. And I would imagine here, if they're able to score on this drive, Coach Brunson will probably elect to go for 2 and try to make this a 35-point game and maybe get a running clock here in the second half.
And McLaughlin, quarterback keeper, off his left side. He gets the 20, puts his head down, and he is forced out of bounds. Hit by Kavian Zaccaro. Nearly hit him out of bounds, but no flag and no harm done. McLaughlin picks up about 6 yards, brings up 2nd and 4. But, yeah, Seth, I agree with you. 4th and 2 or 3, and you're in Baker territory, about the 44, and you don't go for it. I'm surprised. Of course, that's why we're up here and they're down there. And
exactly.
I've heard it said if the coach listens to the fans, pretty soon he's sitting with the fans. So, anyway, that's his choice. And McLaughlin, again, keeps the ball and slides into the 40-yard line. He's got the 1st down and then some.
I mean, Junior just doing Junior things. That's what that is right there. Just another simple run right up the middle. His offensive line doing what they've done all season. Give him that lane to run in, and then McLaughlin makes the rest happen with his feet. Picks up another 1st down. Gators driving again now here in the second half on their first possession.
It is 1st and 10 Baker from their 38. 8:34 to go in the 3rd. Gators 41, Sharks 14. And McLaughlin, the quarterback keeper, and puts his head down. He's across the 45-yard line. Again, tackled by Zaccaro and also by Josh Farmer.
And following that left side again behind his big guard and tackle, Carter Mason, Taylor Barrow, and his just absolutely impressive center in Dustin Oglesby, who's actually one of the leaders in pancake blocks this year. Big offensive linemen that just love blocking for their backs and providing them opportunities to be successful. And I think that's one reason why the Gators have been so successful this season.
He gets to the 45-yard line, 2nd down 4 for the Gators. Again, McLaughlin this time hands off to Peoples, and Peoples across midfield. And Seth, I was watching a couple of the linemen. I believe that is Taylor Barrow still blocking way downfield along with their fullback Kenny Williams. But it is a 1st down run for Derek Peoples as he gets into Port St. Joe territory, 1st and 10 from the 49.
And that's why they're so physical like that. They just adopt that mentality. I'm in these pads, I'm going to hit somebody. And every single down, every one of these guys is given 100% in blocking, just in blocking. If they don't have the ball, they're trying to hit somebody and make a play to provide an opportunity for their back to run.
McLaughlin keeps the ball this time, cuts to his left, cuts back inside. He's across the 45. to about the 44-yard line of Port St. Joe. Second down and about 5 for the Gators.
Another good run from Junior this time, following that left side again. To go back to those blockers, it's just not something that you see all the time. There's some times where other players just get kind of lazy and don't block as well. But, I mean, you're seeing even receivers out on the edges are just throwing humongous blocks. The quarterback will come in and throw a great block when Peyton is in. I mean, all of these guys are just built as a unit that want the team to succeed, and I think that's another reason contributing to their success.
Hands off to Peoples, and Peoples is to the 40-yard line. Be about a yard shy of the first. Third down and 1. 6:35 to go in this third quarter. Baker 41-14 over Port St. Joe. Again, Madison County has shut out Hawthorne. They'll be heading to Orlando next weekend. Baker and Port St. Joe waiting to play this one out. Baker in control right now by 27 points. Again, McLaughlin and Peoples in the backfield. And a flag comes in. Garrett Mitchum in a fullback throwing a good block.
Might have been
that allows Junior to get the first down if it stands, but it's a penalty against the Gators.
And it's a hold, and another terrible time to have a holding penalty. A 3rd and 1 is going to turn into a 3rd and 11 after a 10-yard holding penalty against the Gators. Very unfortunate there, but, you know, what's 10 more yards for this Gator offense?
All right. Official timeout taken with 5:59 left in the third. Baker 41-14 over Port St. Joe. Back in a moment.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM. The Florida High School Athletic Association recognizes its corporate partners who help make the FHSAA Football Championships possible. Team IP, the official merchandising company of the FHSAA. Gatorade Thirst Quencher, fueling the future. Mainline Events, the official photo company of the FHSAA. Balfour, the official supplier of championship rings for the FHSAA. Spectrum Sports, the official television partner of the FHSAA. Max Preps, official scores and statistics of the FHSAA. GoFan, official online ticket provider of the FHSAA. The NFHS Network, the official online partner of the FHSAA. And Wilson, provider of the official game ball for the 2018 FHSAA Football Championships.
And welcome back. 3rd down, 12 for the Gators. Ball is placed at about their 48-yard line. Just under 6 minutes left in this third quarter. 41-14, Baker on top. And Peyton back to pass, and he is knocked down by Bubba Ash back about the 35-yard line.
Yeah, it's one time where you see the offensive line lose some poise and lose their awareness, and Bubba Ash just comes in completely unblocked and just slams Peyton into the ground for a huge loss. It's going to bring up a 4th down. So another drive that started with some promises looks like it's going to end with a punt.
And that's a fun name to say, Bubba Ash. It's just fun to say.
You like that?
I like
Francisco,
that.
Huh?
Like Francisco. 5:14 to go in the third, and back in punt formation is Peyton Rockwell. And Peyton gets the punt off as he slips and slides at the 30-yard line, and it's going to bounce out of bounds at the Port St. Joe 36-yard line.
And Peyton took quite a spill as he punted that one away. As soon as his foot went up to kick that, he slides right back down.
Well, you look at this field and you see still a lot of wet spots out there.
Oh, it's sloppy out there. Oh, yeah.
It is still sloppy. Not much rain this week until earlier today, or just early in the game. Right, during the game. But Port St. Joe does stop the Gators on this drive, and they take over 1st and 10 at their 36. 5:01 to go in the third quarter. Baker 41, Port St. Joe 14.
And if you're the Sharks here, that's a good sign from your defense, able to actually hold the Gator offense the first time that the Gators haven't scored on an offensive possession tonight. So the Sharks are in position now to try to score, but they're going to have to score quick, as you saw just how much time that Gator drive took up, even without scoring. Now with halfway through the third quarter, Port St. Joe really going to have to work.
Timeout, Port St. Joe. Back in a moment.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
WTJT would like to say thank you to the Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union for supporting our coverage of Baker Gator football. Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union offers a wide variety of financial services with 4 locations, including the Baker branch location at the entrance to Baker School next to the Gator Cafe. They can be reached at 850-537-9815 or on the web at OkaloosaFCU.org. You can be a member of the credit union if you live, work, or worship, or attend school in Okaloosa County. For all your financial needs, it's Okaloosa County Teachers Federal Credit Union, achieving goals together.
1st and 10, Port St. Joe from the 36-yard line. 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Shot Josh Butts, back to pass, and throws out to Zaccaro, who makes the grab and breaks one tackle. And then he's brought down. And the flag comes down. Tackle made by John Metaleska.
I think that was actually Octavius Russ on that reception there, the wide receiver, number 32.
Okay. You're right.
Yeah. Not a bad pickup there on the screen pass, but it's the extracurricular stuff that may end up hurting Port St. Joe here. We'll see what the final call is going to be. Coach Brunson not happy either way.
Exactly. Still a lot of discussion amongst our officials tonight.
Yeah, been a lot of talks tonight, a lot of confusion, some issues, but we'll see what the Whitehead has to say.
It is personal foul. It goes against the Gators to the crowd's disapproval, and that's a 15-yard penalty in favor of Port St. Joe that puts the ball at the Baker 45-yard line.
And Coach Brunson is absolutely irate about that. As you can understand, there's been several jawing back and forth and several punches thrown by the Sharks that have not been called, and finally something's called and turns out to be against the Gators. So Coach is definitely going to give all of those Zebras an earful.
Indeed. 1st and 10, Port St. Joe from the Baker 45-yard line, 4:40 to go. Josh Butts, quarterback keeper, breaks one tackle and is brought down about the 35-yard line by the Baker Gators.
Butts I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, Butts kind of a small guy, only about 5'9", $170. So he's kind of slippery, too, as he's running through that line. That time he's able to weave a little bit until he's pulled down after about a solid 8-yard gain. So a nice, again, productive first down run from this Port St. Joe offense.
It is 2nd down and 2 from the Baker 37-yard line. Clock rolling under 4 minutes, third quarter. Baker 41-14 in the lead. Again, shotgun for Butts. Quickly throws it out in the flat to his receiver. Hits his man, and he's forced out of bounds, and that was Harmon who gets the first down inside the 35-yard line.
And curious with these short passes, Butts certainly has the arm to throw the deep ball, and kind of surprised to see him still with these little screen passes rather than let him try to hit one of his guys deep, which was successful on their very first drive where they had a couple of deep post routes where they were able to connect and pick up some first downs. But it's be another timeout here.
They had the ball marked at the 35, but showing 3rd down and less than a yard. Timeout by Baker. We'll take it as well. Be back in a moment.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
Thank you, Brackney Funeral Service in Crestview, for your support. Brackney Funeral Service is located on Highway 90 East. They are locally owned and operated and provide all the traditional funeral services, including burials and cremations. And the telephone number is 683-9898, 683-9898. Terry Brackney is the funeral director. Again, thanks, Terry and Brackney Funeral Service for giving to WTJT.
And welcome back after a timeout from the Baker Gators. Back to action now. It is 3rd down and just inches. Ball right at the 35-yard line of the Gators at Port St. Joe. And talking about quarterback Josh Butts, he has a quick release, Seth. He throws that ball quick and fast. He's under center. Look for a quarterback sneak here, and quarterback keeper Josh Butts He's across the 25-yard line, about a 10-yard run. First down, Port St. Joe.
Yeah, he gets the first down and what might have been another one. About an 11-yard run from Butts on that quarterback keeper. And now Port St. Joe's offense showing some life. We'll see if they can liven up in time, as they're only going to have about 15 minutes of game clock left, including the rest of this quarter and the fourth.
Exactly. It is 1st and 10. Port St. Joe from the 25, and Josh Butts, quarterback keeper, left side, cuts it in, breaks one tackle, and is brought down on the far side, very close to another Port St. Joe first down.
And this drive has just been all Josh Butts. Josh Butts to the left, to the right, up the middle, throwing some passes. And he's saying, man, I guess I'm going to have to do it myself. And showing up on this drive here as they're moving into the red zone. But another timeout.
And now Baker takes another timeout. With 3:26 to go in the third quarter, they lead 41-14. Back in a moment.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
WTJT is honored to recognize the support of Adams Sanitation to this ministry. Adams is locally owned and operated and has been for more than 35 years. They offer twice weekly pickup featuring automated trucks. No bagging of trash required. Adams also offers complimentary pickup of small bulk items, appliances, bagged yard waste, plus complimentary service to any church within their service area. They have 65 or 96-gallon rolling cans and pricing plans specifically for the senior 65 and older. The phone number to Adams Sanitation is 537-3282. The website is adamsanitation.com.
And welcome back to Baker, Florida. 1st and 10, Port St. Joe from the Baker 15-yard line. They trail 41-14 with 3:26 to go in the third quarter. Butts in shotgun. Quarterback keeper right side slips down. And he was being pursued by Carter Mason, but a lot of slippery spots on that field, and Butts goes down, loses a yard, back to the 16, brings up second down and about 12 yards to go.
Yeah, the swamp taking care of its own right there. Drops Butts for about a 2-yard loss, and Mason makes sure he's down, but
second down, 12, the ball just shy of the 15-yard line. Clock rolling. We're at 2:50 to go in this third quarter. Baker on top, 41-14. Madison County has punched their ticket in for Orlando for next weekend, and waiting here between Baker and Port St. Joe. Again, Josh Butts in shotgun, back to pass, goes downfield. He's got his man open. That's Isaiah Wright in the end zone. Touchdown, Port St. Joe, and don't rule these Sharks out just yet, Seth.
And that's exactly what they had to do right there. Score a touchdown on this drive. That first possession of this half stalled out. This time they're able to keep it moving downfield, aided by a Baker penalty there. And then a nice corner route, easy touchdown pass from Butts to his man, Isaiah Wright, who just beats Trey Colmetz in the corner of the end zone.
And now Joel Bogart on for the extra point. 41-20, and they were short a man. He comes in now at the last moment. There's the snap. The ball's down. The kick is up. And it is good. 2:28 to go in the third. Your new score, Baker 41, Port St. Joe 21. Back in a moment.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
One of our sponsors this year for our live coverage of Baker Gator varsity football is Wise Equipment in Crestview. Wise Equipment specializes in sales and services of Kubota and John Deere mowers and tractors. They carry Steel and John Deere chainsaws, line trimmers, and blowers. Plus, they have John Deere toys. All products are backed by a manufacturer's warranty. Wise Equipment is located at 1147 South Ferdon Boulevard in Crestview and can be reached at 850-682-3366.
And welcome back to Doug Griffith Memorial Stadium. 2:28 to go in the third quarter, and the score is now Baker 41, Port St. Joe 21. And Seth, Port St. Joe deferred the first half to kickoff And so they could get the ball first in the second half, and didn't score on that first drive, but they do take advantage on this second drive.
Yep.
A nice little 16-yard pass from Joshua Butts to Isaiah Wright. And now Bogart set to kick off for the Sharks.
We'll see if he decides to try to boot this one deep or if it's early enough for an onside kick.
And he does kick it away. Junior goes back to about his 10-yard line and corrals it in, looking for somewhere to run. And he tries to get up the middle, and he's going to be brought down about the 20-yard line. And still some tempers flaring down there on the field, looks like, but it's broken up quickly.
And fun to note, Junior, I don't think was ever actually brought down there. They just stopped his forward progress long enough to get that whistle. He is a very, very tough runner to actually bring down to the ground, and not able to do so on that return, but able to hold his possession long enough.
And Seth, one of the concerns Coach Brunson had about this Port St. Joe defense, he talks about their defensive interior being big and physical. But so far, our offensive line is quoted by one reporter to be feared in the the most feared in the Panhandle.
Accurate.
Has moved them out. Junior with the ball, again just weaving in and out, dodging tacklers, breaking tackles, and he's close to a first down. Finally stopped after about a 9, almost 10-yard run. Second down and about a yard from the 29-yard line.
And Junior also a very elusive back. He's just very shifty, quick with his feet, along with that patience of waiting until he finds a hole to run through. Once he gets there, he's able to use his quick thinking to move as he needs down to give him a second short.
And Junior again, quarterback, keeper off the left side. He's across the 30. Short game, but it's a first down, and he's brought down by Isaiah Wright and Kayvon Zaccaro.
I think this is really what the Gators are going to try to continue to do the rest of the second half as this third quarter is about to come to an end and going into the fourth quarter, is these long drives. Even though that drive that they had in the second half already did not score a touchdown, it took about 6 minutes off the clock, and that is huge. I mean, absolutely huge to take away that much time for Port St. Joe's offense, who also needs several minutes to try to score. So we'll see what they cook up here now on a new set of downs.
1st and 10 from the 31, and handoff goes to, I believe that's Derek Peoples. And Peoples is stopped about the 35-yard line.
And it's just a 1-2 punch from this offense right now. It's either going to be McLaughlin or Peoples, and defense is just going to have to figure out whether they can stop either one of them. And obviously the first half, the answer was no, we cannot. So as this second possession by the Gators in the second half continues, we'll see if Port St. Joe has implemented those adjustments that they've tried to make at halftime here to stop the Gators again on this possession.
Second down and 6 from the Baker 35. McLaughlin, quarterback keeper, and short gain, and he's tripped up about the line of scrimmage. Brings up 3rd down and 6 as we are down to the final 15 seconds of this third quarter. Winner here heads to Orlando for a spot in the state championship game next weekend. And that's going to end it for the third quarter. At the end of 3, the score, Baker 41, Port St. Joe 21. Back in a moment.
And you're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM. For the latest official news about Florida high school sports, including results of all rounds in the 2018 FHSAA Football Championships, visit FHSAA.org, the official website of the Florida High School Athletic Association. That's www.fhsaa.org. Catch live and on-demand postseason coverage of Florida high school sports at www.nfhsnetwork.com. Brought to you by the NFHS Network, the official online partner of the FHSAA.
We are proud to acknowledge the support of Whitehurst Powell Funeral Home in Crestview. They are a family-owned and operated funeral home, open 7 days a week, and can handle all funeral needs. Plus, they offer advanced planning. Whitehurst Powell is also home to the Southern Heritage Crematory. They are located at 436 James Lee Boulevard, and the phone number is 850-682-3052. Owner Andy Powell is committed to caring for you in your time of need, and is also proud to help make coverage of Baker Gator football possible.
And welcome back as we start this fourth quarter. And Seth, one stat that I came across that I thought was interesting: Baker is 10-0 at Doug Griffith this season. Port St. Joe is 4-0 on the road. One of those streaks is going to end tonight.
And do you want a prediction of which one I think it might be?
Sure, go ahead. I think I can.
Yeah, the Gators still have the upper hand right now. It's not over. There's still 12 minutes left. Port St. Joe only down 20. Not an impossible comeback. Improbable, but not impossible. So we'll see now. It's third down, third and medium. If Port St. Joe can come up with a stop here and get the ball back in their offense's hands.
And again, the Wildcat formation. And looks like Bubba Ash a little anxious on that play. He jumps off sides.
Yeah, tried to get a little head start, and that's almost going to be a free first down. That 3rd and 5 is closer to maybe 3rd and 4, so this is going to end up being maybe 3rd and inches, and that's a lot easier for the Gators. Not that they need ease, but don't be surprised to see to see Junior just take this one right up the gut, try to pick up this first down.
Right, they don't need the help, but why refuse it, right?
Exactly.
So now 3rd down, then about a yard from the Baker 40. Fourth quarter just underway, and it is Junior. He slips. He finds a hole. He's across midfield. Junior to the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown saving tackle. I believe, is that Isaiah Wright, number 2?
Yep.
A touchdown saving tackle. But Seth, he couldn't have stopped them any closer. It was almost to the 2-yard line, but Junior looked like a bolt of lightning. He was just like a bullet.
Yep. Well, now you got to let him run it again. You got to let him finish what he started on that run, so don't be surprised. Junior up the middle again, trying to finish off here and get that touchdown. But, yeah, I mean, he is just electric, like a lightning bolt. As soon as he finds that hole, he shoots through it. Absolute. I mean, also great acceleration. And right there, you got to see it firsthand, just darting through that hole, taking it all the way almost to the end zone. Isaiah Wright, like you said, just does get a touchdown-saving tackle by the barest minimum of a margin.
Yeah, pulled him back on his hind legs. And it is Junior trying to find that goal line, and he's going to be forced out of bounds. Isaiah Wright once again forces Junior out of bounds near about the 5-yard line, a loss. 2nd down and goal.
Yeah, it's a few-yard loss. Instead of trying to go up the middle, Junior tries to take it outside and just can't quite outflank him. Port St. Joe with some great speed in that linebacker core, and that time Wright finds him again. And this time, as you said, comes up with a tackle for loss.
10:45 to go. And Seth, again, we recognize these guys every week, but now they got a nickname. It's that fearsome offensive line.
I like it.
Providing those holes. Junior looking for someone to go off the left side, trying to cut it in, and again going to be stopped shy of the goal line. He's very close, gets down to about the 1-yard line, now brings up 3rd down and goal. But Seth, these last 2 plays, Port St. Joe, that defense has really shown just how tough they can be.
That's determination, doing everything they can. They have to. I mean, there's no question. If they want to try to win this game, come back in the next 10 minutes, they have to stop them from scoring a touchdown here at the goal line. And right now, doing a pretty good job on these last 2 plays. After that touchdown-saving tackle, now back-to-back stops here at the goal line, and it's going to be 3rd and goal. But that run right there, it looked like McLaughlin was going to have a place to go on the outside, but it closed up so quick. Some great lateral movement by Port St. Joe defense.
Well, Peoples comes out. John Mataluska goes in to provide extra blocking, and Junior finally on the 3rd try gets it in there. 9:34 left in the ball game, and now Baker has gone up 47-21.
And I'm sorry.
Another touchdown by Junior.
And that time they did what they needed to do on the first 2 downs. Instead of trying to outflank him and run to the outsides, just let Junior do a power run. And there he does right there. As soon as that hole opens up, he lowers his shoulder, just lowers the boom. No way they're going to stop him and keep him out of the end zone there. Another, as you said, another score for Junior McLaughlin, who's just had an absolutely banner night. I know he's looking forward to facing Madison County in the state championship next week.
Coach Brunson likes to go for just the 1-point attempt here. Brian Holly on for the extra point. And this time it is up. It is good. 9:34 left in this ball game. Your new score is Baker 47, Port St. Joe 21. Back in a moment.
You're listening to the 2018 FHSAA Football State Semifinal game on WTJT 90.1 FM.
WTJT would like to thank Harris Fence of Baker, Florida for their support of WTJT and live coverage of Baker Gator football. Harris Fence offers a wide range of fencing services and supplies which include chain link, galvanized or vinyl coated, wood, privacy or picket, PVC, privacy, 3-rail, etc., and ornamental aluminum. They also offer various styles and brands. They do residential, commercial, and industrial work as well as offer free estimates and military and senior citizen discounts. Harris Fence is fully licensed and insured, and they have been serving Okaloosa, Walton, and Santa Rosa County for 21 years with 35 years experience. They are also a member of the Better Business Bureau. Harris Fence is located at 1588 Garrett Mill Road in Baker, Florida, and they can also be contacted by phone at 537-6169. Thanks again to Harris Fence and James and Rebecca Harris for your support of WTJT and our local football team.
And welcome back to Baker High School. It is 48-21 Baker over Port St. Joe, and Seth, on the extra point attempt, there was a personal foul against the Sharks.
Wow.
And so Baker now will have the chance to kick off from the Port St. Joe 45-yard line. And perhaps Port St. Joe feels this game is starting to slip away and, some temper starting to flare.
Yeah.
They're undefeated as well. And that first loss, especially the longer you go, is tough.
Oh, yeah.
Either way, both teams undefeated, at this point of the season,
right.
And but still, and with a state championship spot on the line.
Yeah, this one means so much more than just a regular season loss, even late in the season. I mean, now this was the one to get them into the state championship game in Orlando, and looks like Baker has effectively started to run completely away with it.
And Brian Holly kicks it straight away, and for the first time this season, Seth, I think he actually kicks it into the end zone. Of course, he had a 15-yard head start, but into the end zone, Brian Holly kicks the ball.
Still, 1 touchback to his name. That's something. That's a good stat for any kicker.
He'll take it, and we'll take it as well. 9:34 left in the ball game. Baker 48, Port St. Joe 21. The Sharks first and 10 from their 20-yard line, and once again down 27 points, and the clock is not on their side.
Yeah, if there was a final blow, that touchdown from Junior was it right there. I mean, you had that chance where you're only down 20. Now it's back up to 27, under 10 minutes to go. It's not impossible for a comeback here. It's just so difficult to imagine that happening here.
Shotgun formation. It's a bad snap. Gets away from Josh Butts. He tries to pick it up, and he's going to be sacked for a loss. Caleb Simpler sacked him back about the 9-yard line. Is where they give us forward progress to. But just a bad snap and a bad play by Port St. Joe. And another flag is down. And they are pinned back at their 9-yard line. I believe it's a flag.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah, it is just completely unraveling for this Port St. Joe team. Everything that can go wrong is now going wrong. And right there, that bad snap is just the culmination of what has gone out this entire game. Miscue after miscue. The opposing team just capitalizing on every single mistake you make. There was no margin for error that Port St. Joe could have in this game. Baker has made them pay for every single mistake. And right there, on first down, trying to come back, trying to make it a respectable loss, I guess, if you could call it that. And just nothing working out now.
Well, the flag was a hold on Port St. Joe. Baker declines it. It is second down and about 21 now. And Josh Butts keeps the ball, just trying to make something. And now we're under 8:49 to be exact, left in this fourth quarter and the ball game and the season for one of these teams, and looking like Port St. Joe may be on the losing end this time.
Yeah.
3 years ago, exact same game, semifinal. Port St. Joe was the victor, 42-13 in that one.
Yeah. Tables have definitely turned this year for the Gators, and it looks like a couple of the players are preparing a little ice bath down there for Coach Brunson. We'll get to see how that plays out in a little bit.
Those are two brave souls.
Yes, they are.
Butts back to pass, and the pass is caught on the far side and forced out of bounds, and that is number 2, Isaiah Wright, that makes a great grab. And Seth, he almost broke that one, but it's forced out of bounds, but it's still a first down for Port St. Joe. So they get out of that hole back deep in their own territory, and it's 1st and 10, Port St. Joe at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like it was almost about to be intercepted, just a mistimed jump trying to get in that passing lane, and he takes full advantage of that as he catches it, takes it up the sideline, picks up a first down. Now Port St. Joe with some breathing room, and their offense again just trying to get downfield and make something productive out of this drive, something productive to carry into the next season for your team.
8:04 left in the ball game, 48-21. Baker on top, 1st and 10, Port St. Joe from the 30. Josh Butts back to pass, hits his man, he breaks one tackle, racing down the sideline, and finally forced down on the far side. And again, I believe that's Isaiah Wright once again. And every time he gets tackled, he kind of just throws that ball down. You're just throwing that fist into the ground. Frustration there, but still another first down run, pass and catch by Port St. Joe, and they had the ball at their 47-yard line.
Yeah, he really, I think it's because he wants to break one big so badly, and it just hasn't worked out. The Gators seem to just keep tracking him down, and right there, that was another miss, trying to jump in that passing lane, missed the ball, and Wright just takes up the sideline again, another first down.
7:34 to go in the ball game. Baker 48-21 over Port St. Joe. Butts back to pass, good protection, goes deep, downfield, overthrows his man, and that time he was trying to hit 32. That is Octavius Russ. And Derek Peoples back there on the coverage.
And that's a great pass from Butts. He has an outstanding arm, great arc, spiral. Just throws a little bit too far for his receiver to bring that in. Otherwise, that might have been either a big catch or a touchdown.
Yeah, he can throw the mile, but outthrows his receivers sometimes.
Not there.
Yeah. Second down, 10 for Port St. Joe from their 47-yard line. 7:22 left in the ball game. Baker on top, 48-21. And again, Josh Butts drops back in shotgun formation. Empty backfield. Looking to pass, and it's blocked. The pass is knocked down.
That's a fumble.
And it's a fumble. And it's picked up by Caleb Simpler. Return for a touchdown if it stands. I thought his hand was in motion, his arm was in motion. And
yeah, I did too.
Incomplete pass, but still Simpler did the best thing. Pick it up, run it in, you never know.
Yeah, whistle wasn't blown, it didn't seem like.
But now they're placing the ball back at the 47-yard line, and that's coming up third down. And 10 for the Sharks. 7:09 to go in the ball game.
I like the ferocity, though, of that Gator defense, that as soon as they see that ball on the ground, don't hear the whistle, they pounce on it and try to take that one all the way back. And Simpler, great job trying to get the scoop and score. It's not to be, however.
Seth, I'm sorry, that was Sean McLeod. My mistake. I apologize. That was Sean McLeod, not Simpler, on that return. But Sean McLeod, still alert play by the Baker defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And still a great play regardless, because an incomplete pass is going to bring up a 3rd and long. We'll see what Port St. Joe can do here.
Again, shotgun into backfield, but Butts keeps the ball. And Butts, he's got the first down. He's to the 30, the 20, and finally brought down inside the 15-yard line. But what a great run by Josh Butts as he gets the first down and then some.
Yeah, Butts showing a little breakaway speed as he found that hole on the right side and just moves up that sideline fairly quickly before he's tracked down by Cole Metz and Peoples, it looked like.
It is 1st and 10 from the Baker 15-yard line. 7:07 to go in the ball game. Baker 48-21, but Port St. Joe threatening once again. Clock is rolling, and Port St. Joe, no sense of urgency here. They're taking their time getting out of the huddle. Again, shotgun formation, empty backfield. Butts quickly to the air, going for Isaiah Wright. He's got him in the end zone. Touchdown, Port St. Joe. And now another flag comes in.
I've been a little, again, some extracurricular after the play stuff.
Yeah, you can almost guess it's going to be unsportsmanlike on someone. Just because it was thrown. But what, again, just impressed by the accuracy of Josh Butts.
Oh, yeah.
And hitting his man Isaiah Wright.
And Wright was wide open, had nobody on him. The Gator secondary just kind of fell asleep right there as Wright runs past him. And Butts, again, with that quick release, as you mentioned, just hits him immediately, gets him in the end zone for that touchdown. And, I mean, if you're the Baker defense, you're still playing for a little pride here. You don't want to keep giving up points. This will now be the most points that they've allowed all season, assuming this touchdown stands, and I believe it will, up to 27, and after the extra point, a potential 28. So if you're the defense, you don't want to lay down and sleep, because these are still your starters in here, and you got to make sure you're sharp and prepared for next week against Madison County, who shut out their opponent tonight and put up 24 points on offense.
The touchdown was good, but it was unsportsmanlike against Port St. Joe, and that will be assessed on the kickoff. Bogart, this time his extra point is no good. I believe it was blocked, and now more flags, and now there is fighting on the field. Port St. Joe, one of their players just came in and knocked one of ours down from behind, and flags are flying everywhere. And now, Seth, the tempers are starting to flare.
Yep. This is how you get into extra unnecessary trouble. They're frustrated, of course. It's understandable to be frustrated. It's not understandable to make these kind of senseless penalties and to lose your cool completely to the point that you start being this unsportsmanlike, just completely unnecessary. And they might have been frustrated with the fact that Baker still tried to block that extra point and did get the block. They blocked that extra point. I believe that was Joe Brunson that came in over the top, got his hand on it, and blocked it. So, I mean, just, again, everything unraveling, and now even the psyche, the mentality of this Port St. Joe team completely unraveling here.
Well, I believe the player came from behind and just popped Sean McLeod, and that's what caused the flags to fly. But, yeah, you're exactly right. You got to control your tempers regardless. Yeah, this is for a chance to play in the state championship next weekend. And, yeah, they may have been upset, but, man, the coaches – and the players, the seniors, they've got to just get control of their teammates and calm them down. There's just no place for this in high school athletics, any athletics. There's no place. I mean, it's a violent game. It's a emotional game, but you got to keep those emotions in check.
Right. Yeah.
6:40 left in this ball game, and the score is Baker 48, Port St. Joe 27, and the officials are still discussing now. Finally, we're getting a sign from the white hat.
He just called unsportsmanlike conduct or personal foul against Gators.
Called it 2 of them against the Gators.
Wow.
To the disapproval of this crowd, letting these officials know about it. And even Coach Brunson's he's unsure about it.
I think the ref is correcting himself that it was. He pointed to the wrong side. I think he waved off the first 2. He just corrected himself that they were both against Port St. Joe and then an unsportsmanlike conduct to boot on top of that. So
can the crowd take their boos back?
I mean, they quieted down, so we'll consider that taking their boos back. But
oob.
I don't know. There you go, Soob. I don't know, however you want to say it, but yeah. I think now that they've corrected themselves, but I can't imagine where this kickoff's going to take place from. I would imagine it's just about from Port St. Joe's own goal line.
just about. 6:40 left in this semifinal ball game. The last game before the state championship next weekend in Orlando. And it's your Baker Gators on top of the Port St. Joe Sharks, 48-27.
And I figure there's the Whiteheads over there. I figure there's going to be some ejections.
Well, yeah, now Coach Brunson just talked to two members, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Of the
officers are walking on the field.
Yeah, officers are walking on the field.
Wow.
Yeah, Coach Brunson went and got a couple of those officers to maintain some kind of peace and order here.
And that's honestly fair. I mean, you and I have seen it all game that there has been a lot of punches thrown with no flags. I mean, just it's gotten to the point it's too far. I mean, this is a game. At its base level, this is a game. Understand what you're playing for, but, I mean, you have to look at it for what it is, and this kind of stuff, completely unnecessary. I'm glad there's some law enforcement here to maybe provide some peace.
Right.
Enforce some peace.
Right. Well, they are still marching that ball backwards. Seth, you said they may be kicking off from the goal line, and you're not far from it. They have put the ball.
It's almost 45 yards worth of penalties.
Yeah, it looks like it's about just shy of the 10. Now they're going to march it
half
further.
The distance.
Yeah.
So 30 and then half the distance. So, yeah, maybe kicking off from their own 5-yard line.
Port St. Joe kicking off from their 5-yard line.
This crowd is the most fired up I think I've heard them all season, and it's great that they get to rally behind this.
So Joel Bogart will be kicking from his 5-yard line.
John Nataleska at his 50, ready to at the 50, excuse me, ready to return this kick. My goodness. Onside kick time, you think? Maybe? No?
I would not onside kick from my 5-yard line.
Well,
unless you just want to just add injury to insult.
There's been a lot of firsts tonight, so that would be a first I've never seen.
This is true.
But my goodness, what a turn of events in this final quarter. Just completely unexpected.
So here we go. There's the whistle. Bogart set to kick off for Port St. Joe. From the 5-yard line. That is a first. And he gets a booming kick that sends Mataluska back to his 40. He slips, gets his balance back, races down the sideline, and finally forced out of bounds about the 35-yard line, and no flags.
And they're trying to move those guys off the Baker sideline as quickly as possible. It looks like the refs trying to take some control, and they're still jawing.
A lot of jawing, yeah.
And even
number 7, Cameron Harmon jawing at some of the players or coaches or someone.
And now some of his own teammates.
Yeah, there's an injured Port St. Joe player on the field. I believe that's Octavius Russ.
Yeah, I think you're right. And now even some of the Port St. Joe players are having to try to corral their own guys who are just absolutely letting their emotions get the best of them.
And that's the thing, Seth. It's not always the whole team. Sometimes it's just a handful of players that lose their cool.
And you want to defend your teammates, of course, when something happens. But, I mean, somebody has to have a level head and take control in moments like these. And unfortunate that there's an injured player, but a great training staff. And now our own athletic trainer, Miss Jessica Langston, out there assessing the player as well. So
6:07 left in the ball game, and Baker 48, Port St. Joe 27, and the game just really getting out of hand. Octavius is up on his own feet, but he's hobbling, favoring that right leg or right ankle, but he is trying to get off with some assistance from his training staff. And, of course, these Baker fans applauding him.
Certainly. It's good to see.
Yeah, 6:07 left in the ball game, and trying to restore some order here. Baker will have the ball 1st and 10 at the Port St. Joe 37-yard line. Baker offense. Now, Seth, I don't know if you noticed, but there's an official actually there amongst the offense for Baker, possibly giving them some instruction, direction as the rest of this game.
Oh, wow. That's also a first. Maybe some way that they can separate quickly and just get back to finishing out the last 6 minutes of a game that's been pretty much in hand since we started the second half.
Indeed. Well, before the half.
Yeah, before the half, honestly.
Up 41-14 at the half, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, correct.
So here we go. 6:07 to go in the ball game, and the Gators on top 48-27. Now 1st and 10 from the 37. And Junior will hand off with this John Metaleska on the handoff, and he gets a couple yards. He's to about the 35-yard line.
And I believe that was Jatavion Reed who came up there from that cornerback position and was able to pull Metaleska down after that short gain. But Metaleska, one of those backs that the Gators just have in their arsenal that just fills in so much depth. You might see Brunson come in later. You might see Colmetch. Just so many guys that they have to choose from. And look to see them potentially get some touches tonight and next week in the championship.
He's a great runner, Seth, but also he's a great blocker.
Yes, yes he is.
Metaleska is.
And a linebacker. Great linebacker.
Right.
Great all-around player. Sorry.
Exactly. No, you're fine. 5:20 left in the ball game. 2nd down and about 7. And again, Metaleska this time, he gets more yards, and he's to about the 25-yard line. Should be a 1st down, and it is 1st and 10 for Baker at the Port St. Joe 25-yard line. 5:09 to go in the ball game.
Yeah, I mean, and here's to tell you how great he's been all year. 22 carries, 230 yards, and 4 touchdowns. I mean, averaging 10 yards per carry, and right there you see him again picking up that 1st down. He's got a very physical mentality as a back. He's really great, especially in short yardage situations. But you see him there, he can also break away, and right there does and picks up that 1st down. And Gator offense really just trying to run this clock out and end this game without any more drama, get to the state championship.
Another Port St. Joe player has gone down. Peyton Rockwell comes in. He and Derek Peoples are spread wide to the left. And I'm trying to see who that is. They're grabbing his ankle. Not sure if it's a cramp or some other kind of injury, but nonetheless, he gets helped up from his teammates.
I believe that's number 15. That's Bubba Ash, actually.
Bubba Ash.
The middle linebacker. Out, and that's now 2 players on this Port St. Joe offense with leg injuries, and that's unfortunate to see, especially in this final game of the season, the state semifinal game.
It is. 4:48 to go in the ball game. Baker on top, 48-27. And Coach Brunson out talking with the officials, and timeout has been taken.
The coaches are actually meeting at midfield.
Yeah, now I was going to say now, Coach Greg Jordan of Port St. Joe, the last 11 years has been at Bluntstown. And Coach Brunson now against Port St. Joe, he's only played them the one time and has the 1 loss. But against Coach Greg Jordan, he has won 2 and lost 2. Lost last year to Bluntstown, but 2 years ago beat them en route to their state championship appearance.
Right. So now looking to go above 500 in that win percentage against Coach Jordan.
Right. But yeah, Coach Greg Jordan and Coach Matt Brunson at midfield speaking with each other. Want to make sure this game does stay in hand, and right now it's almost assured that Baker will take this win and head to Orlando next weekend.
Right.
Up by 21 points, 48-27 with 4:48 to go in the ball game.
At this point, just waiting for that clock to hit 000 so they can get out of this one without any injuries, without any more drama, and just put this one behind them, call them state semifinal champions, and get to that state championship game in Orlando.
So here we go, 1st and 10 from the 25 of Port St. Joe. Kenny Williams in at fullback. In the backfield is Metaleska and McLaughlin, who takes the snap and hands off to Metaleska. And this time, really no gain, forced out of bounds by number 1, Gant. And number 3, Reed. Brings up 2nd down and about 10 from the 25. Clock is rolling. 4:29 to go in the ball game. A correction, he does gain a yard, Seth, so a 2nd down 9 for the Gators from the 24-yard line.
Something productive, something positive. But for Port St. Joe, you really want to end this game with something positive to pull from, to propel you into that offseason, to prepare you for next year, and this is not the way to do it. Hopefully in these last 4.5 minutes they can, maintain some sportsmanship.
Under center is Peyton Rockwell, and hands off to his running back, and that is Kenny Williams, or his fullback, rather, Kenny Williams. And Kenny Williams, the short gain, brings up 3rd down, and about 6 yards to go from the 21-yard line. Clock is rolling. We're at 3:45 now.
And we talked about Kenny Williams, a great fullback, especially in those short yardage situations, and also a great blocker, like several of the guys on this team. Just if he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he's looking for somebody to hit to provide an opportunity for one of the other backs. And right there, he gets a chance for a touch and picks up an extra few yards to bring him up to a 3rd and 7.
3rd down 7, 3:20 to go in the ball game. Again, Peyton under center Oglesby. And hands off again to Madaleska. And this time John is inside the 20, just shy of the 15-yard line. It's going to bring up 4th down for the Gators with 3 minutes to go in the ball game. And safety talk about a positive. And to be honest with you, no one likes to lose. And poor St. Joe, I mean, you feel for them.
Yeah,
but,
certainly.
it's it could just have easily been Baker had things been turned around. But,
yep.
Still you don't want to see it come down to where the young men are fighting each other. It's just not worth it.
Right. Yeah.
Not over a ball game, even though it is a state championship appearance next weekend for the winner. But nonetheless, our hats off to Port St. Joe, undefeated until this point, and now they'll have their first loss and finish 11-1. 2:24 to go in the ball game, and now Trey Colmetz gets his hand on the ball, and Trey Colmetz is close to the 10-yard line before being tackled by Port St. Joe.
Good to see Trey Colmetz getting a carry on the year, 31 of them for 154 yards and a couple touchdowns. So just another one of the slew of running backs that Baker has to choose from. And he's obviously got some great speed. When you see him get up that sideline, up the edge there, a little bit of a breakaway, picks up a 1st down. So the Gators are going to have a fresh set of downs, which might be just enough time for them to be able to finish out this game by running the clock out.
Yeah, 1st and 10 from the Port St. Joe 12-yard line. Clock is rolling. We're at the 2-minute warning now. Left in this ball game. Baker on top, 48-27. And looks like they are in the Wildcat with McLaughlin awaiting the snap, letting that clock run down just as much as he can. And hands off again. I believe that's Trey Colmetz one more time.
Yeah.
Trey gets about a yard to the 11. Brings up 2nd down and 9. And Seth, I don't think Coach Brunson is looking to score again. I think he's just trying to keep this ball running and
just trying to get out of
this clock running.
Right.
Just
trying to get out of this last minute and a half and call it a night, call it a game.
We are down to 70 seconds. Another semifinal win for the Baker Gators and another trip to Orlando to face, this time, Madison County. And now Peyton just takes a knee, and that's going to wrap it up from here.
And still, Port St. Joe with a great season. Like you said, an undefeated regular season as they give Coach Brunson the Gatorade ice bath, and maybe that'll cool him down a little bit.
He took it like a man. He took it, and he's smiling. He's smiling, so that's a good sign. But
he's got to be happy. His team's undefeated, 13-0. Head to a state championship next week with a chance to go 14-0. A perfect, completely perfect season, and that's exciting for them. But back to Port St. Joe, as I was saying, an undefeated regular season. That's great. They're champions of their region champs. So coming tonight with a loss to a team that is just maybe the superior team in the entire Class 1A in the state of Florida, and they'll get to see if they can prove that next week against Madison County.
And that's going to wrap it up. We're down to the final 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a final Baker 48, Port St. Joe 27. The Gators are on their way to Orlando for another spot in a state championship game to face Madison County. And Seth, it has been a great season for us. It's been a long season, but it's been a great season. Undefeated in the regular season and 4 straight playoff wins.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
You really can't. I mean, what else can you say about this team, this Baker team that is so well put together? Their offense, their defense, their special teams, every aspect of the game that you ask them to execute in, they do it. Tonight they came out. This game was decided at halftime. Like you said, 41-14 at halftime. It was in hand. A comeback was just, it was not going to happen against this Gator team. They came prepared. They knew what they wanted to do. They executed in every facet, and they come away with a victory tonight, and they're going to the state championship next week. A well-earned victory.
Yeah, our hats off to Port St. Joe. And congratulations to head coach Matt Brunson and his whole staff, his team, the fans. It's just been a great season, and they still have one more game to win, one more game to play.
That's right.
And that's next week in Orlando against Madison County.
Oh, it's actually next Thursday.
So they will be
Thursday
playing
day.
next Thursday over, and that's at Camping World Stadium in Orlando. So. And I just want to say thanks to all of you. Seth, it's been so great. You have done so much behind the scenes that people don't see, getting us all set up, your keys to the game, your stats, analysis. It's been a great season working with you again. And just so many our sponsors, our listeners, the ones we do the games for, and just so many people thank. And just appreciate it. Any final comments on this? This is your last chance to say anything you want to before we head out of here.
Yeah, I want to deliver some thanks as well. Thank you to all the fans, all you guys that have listened to us all season, have been supporting your Baker Gators. It has been an honor and a privilege to get to report these games to you, an honor to work with you, Dad, and thank you for instilling this passion in me to do this. And it's just been such a great season. Could not ask for a better season to come back to. It's been 5 years since we've been on the air, and to come back this season, an undefeated regular season, and now the Gators on their way to the state championship next week. Just an absolute honor. Very thankful, and looking forward to doing it again next year.
That's right. And we may get the look here, but I want to say thanks to your mom and my wife. She sits behind the scenes. She makes sure we have water to drink. She chauffeurs us all the games. She relays the scores to us, and I'm getting that look.
And we appreciate her, regardless of the look.
And thanks to Robert for putting up with us all season long. And Seth, all season I've wanted to close out with this, but I've always been hesitant just because I wasn't sure how it would come across. But to quote the great Casey Kasem, the late Casey Kasem, to our fans, just keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. Beautiful. Have a super safe weekend. We won't be with you next week, but go Gators.